What is up, my ninjas? I am STRYDENT, and I am here with my ninjas, and welcome to another episode of Off Our Brains. Today we're going to be keeping it kind of random. Today doesn't have like a big overarching theme. We're just going to geek out and let you guys be along for the ride. So here we go. Yeah. So yeah. We finally made it back on here. That is awesome.
You didn't put a laugh track out here.
You got a laugh track, man. This shit is serious.
It's for real. It's shit's getting real. What the fuck?
What do you mean? Oh, it's that noise from every movie trailer ever.
I know, right? That's awesome.
Coming this summer.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah. People are probably like, "What the fuck is wrong with these guys?" Because we just figured this out.
Who is this bird in a pirate hat?
But so yeah, we're all here finally. I know, right? Hey. And yeah, we're like kind of working our way through Google Plus. It fucking blows. It's too much technical shit just to do simple things, you know? But yep, it's the usual ninjas. We got ODC, that's me. We got he's got the pirate thing on his face. Yeah, but we don't have the video up though. We should do that next time. I know, right? Sorry. It's just easier and it won't take forever. But next time we should do the like a hangout on air and see if it's different. You know what I mean? Maybe the private feature will work better.
Oh yeah, probably.
But so yeah, we got ODC, that's me. We've got we got Agent O.
What up? What up?
And we've got Clarion Prime.
What's happening?
So yeah, we just figured today we're keeping it super random. There's not a whole lot of specifics for me, at least, that I wanted to talk about, except I want to complain about Google Plus for a little bit. Because I'm tired of struggling on this thing, man. I'm not like, computer illiterate or something, but like every single thing I'm trying to do, it's like so difficult. Like I wanted this to be a private hangout so that only the people who I'm inviting are the folks that we chat with, and I'm probably random people are going to pop up. And I apologize in advance because that's what happened last time. And it's not like I have anything against anyone. It's just, I know certain people have certain things to say about certain subjects. And that's why I want to, when you're talking about that subject, you want to talk with those folks. You know what I mean? So not trying to single or exclude people for any specific reason other than conversational stuff. And that's it. But, yeah, it's annoying. We have to watch tutorials to figure out how to make this fucking how to make it a private hangout, and the tutorial didn't even help because it was talking about hangouts on air and not just Google, plus video hangouts. So whatever. Google.
Yeah, it's weird how you got the sidebar that allows you to take screenshots, captures, like everything's there at the click of a button, but there's no way to like do little shit like make this private or like even, well, I guess there's a way to invite people. I'm just now seeing that, but all this whole setup just seems so
not
like,
user friendly.
You can't just pick up and go like you can other shit.
Yeah. And this is only like my.
Yeah, fuck you, Google Hangouts. The only thing you get right is pirate hats.
This is why Google Video lost the war to YouTube, and why they ended up having to buy it off of the guys who created YouTube later, because Google Video sucks.
Exactly. See, I can do that.
Does YouTube let you do that? I don't think so.
Exactly. Sorry.
Here's the drum roll and the bill.
Should do that for the intro from now on.
I know, right?
And then when we leave, we could do this. We'll see you next week.
I know, right? Ninja. But I don't know. I'm geeked. I was working on that Batman, the 8-bit, video game appearance Batman. It's the first like full-on custom I've done in years. At least for like a 7-inch figure. So I repainted them, movie, colors and everything, only to find out that on December 6th, NECA partnered with Warner Brothers to give us the Blu-ray for Batman 89. I think it's like the 25th anniversary version. And it comes with a movie-accurate Batman from NECA. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So, of course I got it, but, I just went through all that work, and it was kind of frustrating towards the end to get it to look as close as I could get it to look, as accurate as I could do. And I think I did a pretty good job. You can only notice the imperfections on the insignia when you get up close, because I'm not finished, but I can't get it as crisp as I would like it to be. I mean, I know they probably just stamp it and it's done, but like I'm trying to paint it by hand and get it all like perfect and shit. But I think it looks pretty good so far. I'm gonna put up pictures of it in here so you guys can see that. Actually, they're on Facebook too. But
cool.
I might do a review when the actual figure comes out. I'm gonna do a review because that figure is awesome. I wasn't a big fan of the fucking pinks and purples and shit that they painted him in, because like I don't give a shit about the Nintendo game like everybody else seems to. I didn't care. I mean, I didn't have a Nintendo when I was a kid. I had a Master System, a Sega Master System. So I played it though.
I don't remember the Nintendo version being that great.
It wasn't that great. It's one of those things where somebody on the internet started the rumor that it was an amazing game, and then started saying it, and then everybody bandwagon, and it's made.
I swear the Angry Video Game Nerd did a video on that game.
Mm-hmm. The game he did a review on all of them. Revenge of the Joker, right. The first one, the second one, or the first Batman game, the second Batman game, Batman Returns for the Genesis and the Super NES, which was awesome. The Sega CD version of Batman Returns, which was also awesome. Yeah, he went through all of them. And I'm
not gonna lie, I played the hell out of that Batman and Robin arcade game.
Oh yeah, it's about the one that looked like Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Digitized models and shit. Yeah, I played the fuck out of that game.
Now, which one did you play? Did you play the version on the home systems, or did you play the version?
I played it in the arcade.
Yeah, they had like the ridiculous combos.
Yeah. And you could there are special moves where they use a grappling hook and you see them swing by and they'd scoop up people as they're swinging by, and then they'd swing right toward the screen and throw all the bad guys in the screen and shit. Yeah, man, that shit was fly to me back then.
It was a dope game, but they never made it for a home. They never made it for like home release, which is pretty stupid. Like, why would you not make it on a home system? Instead, fucking Acclaim went back and redid it. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, because I played that too, and on the Genesis.
Garbage.
Oh God. Yeah. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. Like, it was such a slog. I didn't even beat it because I just gave up.
Yeah, same here. Uh-oh. Cool. Thanks, ODC.
What?
You just sent me the toolbox for Hangouts.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That is helpful. But let me see. So that's gonna be cool. Plus, I wanted a Blu-ray version of Batman '89, because I don't care what a lot of people say. A lot of people give that movie all this shit. They say how it doesn't follow the comics and blah blah blah. Batman's hardly in it, but to me, what it did was it made it It finally made Batman really serious, and like it treated him almost like a monster in a monster movie, where like, there's anticipation, for wanting to see what he looks like, and it's also the first superhero film where the design of the character deviated enough in a good way that it kind of made you now want to see what other people are going to do with their versions of movie characters. You know what I mean? Like, that was the first time I really was like, damn, I never really thought of Batman looking like anything else than the gray tights and the blue, you know, gloves and, you know, mask and everything. You know, I just was like, that's Batman. And then you see this all black. He literally is killing the villains, which I think if he existed, the only way he would be, you know, people would be afraid of him. And the only way he would actually be effective and, you know, manage to do what he's doing for as long as he's been doing it is if he killed the fucking villains. Like, there's no...
Yeah, because people will eventually catch on that, oh, it doesn't matter whatever bad I do, he'll never kill me, because it's just a pattern. Like, they'll know, oh, he'll just throw me in jail. It doesn't matter how scary he is. I'm not really that scared of him.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think... I don't see it the way people do. I mean, yeah, I know people bitch about the fact that his mask was, like, so restricting in the neck, and it made him...
Oh, yeah, he was like doing the shoulder turn every time.
But I think, like, on a what's the word, theatrical level, because he was supposed to be monstrous and he wasn't supposed to feel like he was human, it added to that because he didn't move like a human, and he's still dipping and dodging punches, and he's still handing the police force their ass, you know what I mean? He's still taking down mafia bosses, he's dodging gunfire, and it doesn't seem to slow him down. So it's almost like, just because we know that there was a problem there, in the world of the film, there was no problem there. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't. It didn't really.
Oh yeah, '89 Keaton Batman would beat the fucking shit out of Christian Bale Batman. Christian Bale Batman was such a bitch.
Like, he just got beat up too much to be doing this on a nightly basis, and that's the thing. He didn't do it on a nightly basis. He did it when it was, like, convenient for him. It seemed. Well, in Batman Begins, once he put on a suit, it seemed like he was out there all the time. But in the rest of them, you see him kind of like slowing down, like, yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, they'll get over it.
I'm just gonna take 7 years off and then get my ass kicked.
When it was that time,
I don't get a bionic knee brace that makes me kick through brick. I don't know how that works.
But
it's not broken. I don't understand.
And then he doesn't use it for fighting Bane.
Yeah, he doesn't even use it.
Like, that's
he should have been able to kick Bane through a wall with that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know why my brace isn't working. What the hell, Alfred?
I don't even try to defend I don't even try to argue with people who try to defend the movie. Like, the other day, I guess Hot Toys put out that Dark Knight Batman Armory set.
Yeah.
And I was pointing out how I hate the fact that, you know, all his grapple gun and all that stuff, all his weapons are gun shaped. And I was like, Batman hates guns. I never got that. So I posted a picture of his his grappler from the animated series, and I was like, this made more sense.
Yeah.
You know, I can't see somebody hanging from a handle that's made for you to hold a gun. It's not made for you to, like, hang and swing around from rooftops.
Yep.
And then someone tried to argue with me about how in the movies it's always been portrayed that way. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't like it then either. That's the problem I had with, that's one of the many problems I had with the Nolan movies.
Yeah, because Keaton's spear gun.
Do what?
In '89, he had that spear gun that looks more along the lines of what he has in Arkham City, except it was smaller.
Yeah.
It's not so much a gun. I mean, you can tell it's a launcher, but it's got, like, that big wheel that sits in the palm of his hand, and then it's got the little, like, harpoon on the front, or the grapple on the front. It was cool that they were actually trying to make the shit look different and not trying to make it look like something so with such a lack of imagination. You know what I'm saying? Like, Batman's the character that you're supposed to go off with your imagination and then make the functionality be obvious. You go off with, like
exactly. Well, technically, like, if you were to, like, construct a real grapnel gun, like, from design, you would have to have a place to put your other hand to, like, hold on, like a stick hanging down or something like that.
Yeah.
just so you could like hang on with like maybe a butt at the bottom, so your wrist or your hand doesn't go sliding off the bottom.
Yeah. Or it would connect to your belt, like the way
Holding onto a gun doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It's not natural.
And like if you notice in the animated series, like it went through all 5 fingers. It was like a stick that he was holding on with his whole hand, and it shot off from in between his knuckles.
Yep.
The Keaton Bats one, he shot the line off and then connected the line to his belt, and then it zipped him wherever it needed to zip him. So, yeah. Oh, you got those already?
I got this one.
Yeah,
dude, this figure's fucking pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's for those who can't see it, it's the DC Collectibles animated series Batman, and it's the 4th season version, not the first 3 seasons, because you remember like the 4th season was when the sky stayed red, and Batman was all like huge with the tiny feet and the retro bat symbol and everything, and he was slapping the shit out of bad guys and whatnot. Yeah, I loved it. That was my favorite. Yep, that's exactly it. Yep. It makes sense.
Yeah, dude, this thing comes with so much shit. It comes with an extra cape, I think 3 or 4 different sets of hands,
Wow.
A batarang, a grapnel gun, a separate hand that comes with the grapnel gun, like molded into the hand.
They should always do that.
Dude, I think that's how this whole line's going to be, and that's how they should do every figure. It even comes with like a figure art stand.
What?
It comes with like,
That's
it comes
crazy.
with like a clear stand, and it's got Batman.
Oh wow, it's got the
there.
design specs
That's
on
pretty
there.
cool.
That's hot. Yeah.
How much was that?
It's worth it. I picked it up for I think it was $24.99.
That's not bad at all.
Free shipping.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I think they're on Amazon. I got it from a Monk Time, and it was for $21.99. But then with the shipping and the tax and everything, it came out to about $25.
Yeah. Mock Time's not a bad site. That's where I got my Hawk Girl from, the DCUC Hawk Girl from back in the day, and I got most of that wave from them. It was between them and Entertainment Earth. But yeah, I like them. That actually looks pretty cool. But yeah, the whole people bashing the '89 flick gets on my nerves because it did a whole lot of things that now it's commonplace in films. You know, making him dark and brooding. Guess who started that shit? Making him, what's the word I'm looking for? Introducing him in a different vein than what we're used to.
Yeah, because we're used to fucking Adam West.
Adam West.
And that bullshit.
Yeah. And I mean, and it was fun for like goofing off and laughing and, comedy shit, but like Batman's a little bit more serious than that. We wanted an evolution and we got it with that. So, I hate that people knock it so much, even though it actually was doing a lot of things right.
And it is bullshit because you know that all of those people loved it when it came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like we grew up so much that you can't. I mean, basically, since that movie, Batman's been rehashed a billion times in the same package, with the exception of Forever and Batman and Robin. It's been the same type of package. It's just some things they're not translating the same. Like the armor. Yeah, they went away from having the armor mimic the human anatomy. But, come on, like, he's a superhero. That's kind of the best you could do to make it look like what we saw in the comics. And it made sense, They did it back in...
Well, they made him look more like a bat. If anything, like, that first scene with the thieves on the rooftop...
Yeah.
It almost reminded me, like, the silhouette reminded me of, like, Man-Bat for a minute. Because it was almost like that whole theme throughout the beginning of the movie was like, is he a man or is he a bat?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, and then I watched it and I'm like, wow, that really does look like a silhouette of like Man-Bat.
Oh, so when he threw his wings up.
I thought that was pretty cool that they decided to go with that style of theatrical intimidation.
Yeah.
I really like that. And they did it right off the bat too.
Yeah.
They didn't even mess around. They were just like, here's Batman right now.
Yep. Doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Yep. And
I love the part when he's like stalking the Joker. And it's just like you just see like
he's like walking on top of the freaking He's walking on
flipping
the
by.
yeah. He's like walking on the banister, like the railing. He's like strolling on the railing.
He's
slowly.
stalking him. It's like a fucking animal stalking its prey. It's kind of like a lion hunched down into the fucking in the grass, like waiting for himself to pounce. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, the shit was cool, man. There were a lot of little details that, like, we don't see it anymore, even with Nolan and his hoity-toity, super smart version of Batman that actually wasn't really that smart. And it's weird because, don't get me wrong, my favorite of the three is still Batman Begins. And I don't care what any of the critics say. I don't care how good you think Heath Ledger's performance was. The first one had the spirit of the character like 100%, even though it was realistic in the sense that they kind of cut down on the gadgetry and they cut down on the like unbelievable shit, but it had enough of the unbelievable stuff in there, like with the ninjas taking the weird drug that makes you start illing and you're seeing all the shit that you fear and everything is heightened, you know what I mean? Like, that was pretty cool. The stunts all seemed pretty cool because it's shit we saw Batman do in the animated series, you know? We saw him grapple onto trains, and we saw him grapple onto, you know, like moving vehicles and shit, you know, fast-moving objects, and hang and bump into shit and jump and roll and all that craziness. None of it was too, like, out of the realm of possibility for, like, what we know Batman to be and what he does. So, I enjoyed the hell out of all that shit. And in that movie, when he was beating people up, even though you couldn't see it, the way it was filmed, you kind of felt like he was like a fucking whirlwind. Like he showed up and just kicks and fists and elbows are being thrown and dudes are just falling and it's done.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could see in that movie, it felt more like a stylistic choice and not a limitation of the director's skill. Whereas by the second movie, it was clear that the fucking DP did not know how to fucking shoot action. And Nolan didn't know anything to tell the DP to do differently to show us the action better. So, and no, I'm not talking about double penetration. I'm talking about the director of photography.
No one doesn't know anything about that.
But no, I loved fucking the '89 movie, man. It just was dope. Like the vehicle, the best. That's my favorite Batmobile.
That's the best Batmobile.
It just looked so damn intimidating. Yeah, in reality, I'm pretty sure there's some things that it just can't do well, but it looked like it could do everything, and I didn't care.
It was better than the one that was on hydraulics and shit. God.
With the one from Forever that was driving up walls and shit.
That stupid fin in the back.
And it had that huge fin in the back. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember that shit.
With the 35-year-old Robin sitting in it.
Oh my god.
He just got his back credit card, so you know.
Oh, that's right. God, horrible. No wonder Keaton didn't want to do the third one.
Yeah, I know, right? He was not happy.
Oh, you drive through.
Oh Lord.
Horrible. And that's how they started the movie off too. It was just horrible.
I know. This is why Superman. This is why Superman works alone. You're like, wow, really?
Superman would just never want to work with that Batman. He would just be like, God, this guy's such a flaming douchebag.
Oh man, but yeah, like I said, the '89 one, it did too many things to put us in the right direction. I don't know why I don't get it, and I don't agree with them. I mean, I don't have to, but I don't get it. I don't get what the hate's for. And plus, if you remember how things were back then, like you couldn't go anywhere and not see the bat symbol. Like,
oh my god, it was everywhere.
People were getting they were on interviews on fucking on the regular news, Nightline, whatever, the fucking Arsenio Hall show, and everybody had a fucking hat.
Like bat. Everybody was bat crazy.
Yeah, man. People had bat.
Dude, they had Prince do the soundtrack. Dude, Prince was like the fucking man. Yeah. That was like the peak of his career.
Yeah. It was pretty dope. And what's funny is I didn't even like all that shit. I didn't care.
But it was a way to get. It was a way to.
What happened?
It was a way to mainstream Batman.
Yeah.
That's what. It was just another thing that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that song made no sense. Like,
No.
and he was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, what the hell? What does this have to do with Batman?
Yeah, did you see the video where he's like kind of like Two-Face? He's got like half the bat face, and
Yeah,
then
and half the
the other
Joker.
half is the Joker
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
I
Oh,
remember
God,
that
yeah.
shit. It was weird. It was weird, but that's Prince. He always was out there. So I don't know, but it helped. I swear, people were paying attention, and you couldn't help but notice that, you know, this was a thing. Now, even though in the fan communities, people, you know, dick ride the hell out of Batman, it's not the same. You know, people don't give a shit like they did then. Back then, they were like, yo, we're along for the ride. And it's a cool ride. Now, it's kind of like, oh,
Now it's like, I better be this, and this.
Yeah.
I better be this good. And
it's like,
there's such high expectations now. It's like...
well, and then, like, there's high expectations with the fan communities, but then for the rest of us, it's like another Batman movie. You know, like, hey, they're making another one, and it doesn't matter, and they're rebooting, and it's this version, and it's that person's... it's just, it's become so corporate that it's almost like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, pretty much. But the other thing is, what was I going to say? I just brain farted.
We're getting old.
There's no Google sound effect for that.
Maybe try some cake.
I know, right?
Where's my cake?
I need my cake, Amelia.
I need a light.
Oh, man.
No, but what was I going to say? Oh, the other thing is that Batman was actually like kicking some ass in that both those movies, even Batman Returns, he was kind of...
Oh, my God. That scene where he, like, hits the dude in the face 3 times, the fire blower, and the guy doesn't react, and then he just smiles and looks down, and then the bomb is sitting on the dude's stomach.
Yeah.
And he just punches him in the throat.
Hit me as hard as you can.
Whack.
Whack. And he's like, oh, shit.
He just hits him in the throat and then throws him in a cellar, and the dude just blows up. It's like, holy shit. That's that's what I want to see, you know? Like,
that's something the Punisher would do.
Exactly. But it was awesome because you knew in this universe there's no redeeming qualities to the villains that you could like come up with a way to allow them to live. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because they would go around killing people all the time.
Exactly.
You have to put them down.
Exactly. So yeah, for me, in my opinion, that shit was quality, and I don't know why people talk the shit. It gave you everything you wanted. Unlike the Superman films, he had people to punch, and he punched them very hard.
Yes.
And
they could take it.
Yeah, and it just worked. It worked, and it was stylized enough that you knew it wasn't real life, so you didn't have to compare it to real life, you know? Whereas now they want so hard to try to make everything confused with real life, and it's like, you know, Batman could not exist in real life. And if he did, you would never fucking know. It would be a literally an urban legend, and no one would ever know except for the people who he saved. And even them, it would happen so fast that it'd just be done, you know? So,
Exactly.
I don't know. The
other part that I always wanted was like, man, it would have been, how cool would that have been to have a Christopher Reeve and Keaton
team up.
Oh
my God.
Oh, because they're such polar opposites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Batman's killing. Superman never killed in those movies.
Yeah.
Ever. And he'd be like, dude, you can't kill people. Like, you can't blow them up. Set them on fire with your fucking car. Mm-hmm. What's the matter with you? Shut up, Clark.
That all right. That was the other thing, the voice. He just whispered. Like, that was it. He would just kind of whisper at people. And it worked. He seemed kind of creepy. Like, Commissioner Gordon's talking to him, trying to be friends, and he's just like, whatever, and walks off and does what he's going to do. He continues killing, Red Triangle guys. And it's like, what the fuck? This dude is crazy. Like, and it was awesome, because I think he would have to be that extreme. But I don't know. That movie is just one of my favorites, and I don't care what, you know, all the criticism is. I mean, some of it I understand, but at the same time, it never tried to be anything more than what was presented. It told you it was Gotham City was a character. All this shit took place in Gotham City. End of story. You know, it works in this world. It's done. So I don't know. And I dig the fucking design was hot. The whole, I don't know. It just all worked for me. So I'm geeked about getting that Blu-ray and that figure. Even though I just spent 2 days working on this custom.
I love that combo pack.
Huh?
I think that's a great combo pack. I'm really glad that they decided to go that route because I want that DVD.
Yeah.
That collection. It's like a collector's item DVD.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm geeked, and I normally don't buy special editions, so yeah, that's gonna be cool. So here's another thing. You were right about the 6-inch GI Joes. I don't know if we mentioned it last time, but you were right. I read about it. Actually, I read about it like shortly after you said it the last time we all, geeked out. And I was like, wow. And of course, the first figure is Snake Eyes. I was like, yeah, of course.
Yep. It's going to be the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
What? Why?
That's pretty stupid. Because reasons.
They're gonna try and make as much money off of it as possible.
So he's probably
but nobody's gonna make. They're not gonna make money off of it. It's the scalpers that are gonna flip that shit on eBay and make
that's
money.
What I mean. I meant the scalpers. Oh. That's what I meant. The scalpers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They're gonna make shit tons of money because motherfuckers can't control themselves.
I need it right now.
I know, right? I want it and I deserve it. I deserve it, goddammit. Yeah, I don't know. They're making poor choices again, and it doesn't surprise me. And fuck them. I'm good with my regular GI Joes.
Yeah, no, you have to start all over again.
What the heck?
Yeah, you got to start all over again. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to Clarion?
Yeah, he just flew out real quick. I'll invite him.
Where'd he go? Come back!
I know, right? But yeah, man, I don't get it. It's just bad choices and whatever. Fuck them. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Like I said before, I'm just gonna continue with the collection. I think the people who are really like into their Joes, they're just gonna continue doing what they had been doing, and those who have to get everything, they'll jump on these like the way they're jumping on like whatever the new shit is. I don't know, man. It's too many versions of the same shit. Like, give me new stuff. Don't keep giving me the same things in different scales. Like, I want new, completely different new shit. Stop force feeding us the same old characters, same old franchises in different colors, like, and different sizes and shapes. Like, that's just dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the other reason.
Same way with comics right now, too, in that department.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Same exact way with comics. It's just
yeah,
so boring right now.
Have you read Axis at all?
No. I've been reading Black Bat lately. Black Bat and what the fuck is his name? Captain Midnight.
Oh yeah.
Those two. I've been picking those. Those are, they're pretty cool. They remind me of like old school, like, I don't know, like early, like 50s.
Yeah, like
40s, like super characters, like those classic characters.
Yeah, like the pulp comics from back then.
Yep.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know, for me, I've been reading old shit.
I missed the 90s, I missed the 80s comics, the 70s comics. I miss those comics, man.
Me too. People give shit to the 90s, and I say, fuck you. The 90s, if it weren't for the 90s, we wouldn't have had none of the shit that we're getting now. I mean, if the 90s were so bad, why are Marvel and DC trying so hard to emulate shit that happened back then? You know?
Yeah, I know. They're about to reintroduce all that shit. Secret War, Civil War again. Maybe even I think Infinity of some sort, another Infinity thing with Thanos. That might be more because of the movies, but
yeah,
they're trying to rehash all that shit.
Guardians with the Infinity War?
They aren't?
No.
Wait, what?
That's what I was like.
What happened?
They're not going to integrate Guardians of the Galaxy in the Infinity War.
Really?
Yeah, it makes. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what?
Divinity
The
Hall,
whole
the
premise
thing
around
did.
that movie was one of the gems.
I don't believe that. I don't believe them. I think we have to wait and see. That's one of those things where I think somebody is trying to speculate, start rumors before the shit comes out, because that doesn't make any
Where did
sense.
this rumor originate from?
Well, the director said that he wants them to be their own, and he said they won't be a part of part 1, but maybe part 2.
Well, that
And I'm
makes
like, why would you do that?
artist ego. But I think Kevin Feige had the plan.
I would just fire that director immediately.
Wow.
Oh, you don't want to do that? Oh, well, guess what? I'm Marvel, and we have a bigger dick.
Yeah, I know,
Right.
right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe that would be. He doesn't get the final say, and Guardians was great, but in the end,
Especially since they're already integrated, because one of the Infinity Gems is in the fucking movie.
yeah, exactly.
I know. That's what I was just. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, fuck. I don't.
The whole
believe-
premise of that movie was a power gem, right?
Where did that rumor originate from?
It was there was an interview, and I saw it on Comic Book Cast. They posted it up.
Oh,
fuck
then it was
those
on
guys.
Machinima.
Oh my god, Comic Book Cast. I can't stand those guys. I know I seem to be the one guy who's always like, I can't stand this guy and I can't stand this guy, but I swear on the internet there's this.
What do you mean you can't stand my speech impediment?
No, it's the fact that like shit will happen and then they'll make a 1-minute video and they just say, "Oh, this happened. What's your guys' thoughts on this?" Motherfucker, that's not news. You didn't need to get on fucking make a 1-minute video saying Ben Affleck is Batman. What do you think about this? Wait, but that's not news if everybody else knows and there's more details to it. Like, or saying like, they're gonna kill off Wolverine. What do you guys think about this?
They're just like those fucking tabloid fucking updates that you
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
Like Entertainment Tonight or some bullshit. Well, here's the rumors for today. The rumor is that Guardians of the Galaxy isn't going to be a part of anything. Here's another rumor for today, and tell me what you think in the comments below. Ben Affleck is fat.
But you see what I'm saying though? It's like
And they always say that these rumors that are so true are come from fucking Latino Review.
Yeah.
Of all fucking places. Don't ever. I wouldn't even bother to say a word if it came from Latino Review.
Sometimes Latino reviews on point, but yeah, I wouldn't. There's a lot of times like they're just spinning whatever the rumor mill.
Yeah. That gets on my nerves. And plus, like, I have no respect for tabloids or YouTubers or news outlets that they'll bring attention to a story and not chime in with, like, especially when it comes to entertainment. If it's like real world news, like shit that's happening, you should let us know what's going on first. Then give us your 2 cents if you have a 2 cents. You know what I mean? I that's cool. That's integrity. I get that. But like when it's entertainment, it's like, okay, so what the fuck do you think about it? Like fucking variant comics where the guy will say, I'm going to put 2 guys up against each other. But then all he does is tell you what this guy does and what this guy does. And then in the end, he tells you guys to come up with who will win. You're the one who, it's your show. Tell us why you think this other guy wins, or why, like, you're the one who's supposed to be kind of shaping the help shape the opinions with some kind of logic or some kind of reason to how things work, instead of just the typical fanboy backlash where it's like, I like this guy, I like Marvel better, so automatically the Marvel guy wins. You know what I mean? Or, I like DC and they're older, so they automatically win, like with no logic past your favoritive. Like that
sounds like clickbait to me.
It's annoying.
And the thing about it is that a lot of those people, and I'll just say
a lot of those people like to do those.
What do you mean, those people?
It's like, oh, I love DC. I grew up on DC and this and this and this, and then completely shit on all the characters when they do a versus, or completely shit all over DC for movies or anything else. It's like, well, if you love DC, it doesn't really sound like you do.
Yeah, that's a Marvel fanboy in disguise.
That's a Marvel dude just saying, oh, I don't want heat for being a Marvel fanboy, so I'll just say I like DC and I grew up on it when I really didn't. It's like, I don't care if you're like, I understand like people are passionate about certain things, and that's fine. I get that, but don't go out of your way to try to piss people off with comments like, and they shit on Man of Steel all the time.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Killed so many people, and blah, 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 and Superman would never do that. Because Superman would never let that happen. And this is stupid. It's like, well, dude, guess what? In reality, Superman wouldn't be able to save everybody because he can't fucking be everywhere at every fucking moment.
Yeah.
So guess what? Buildings are gonna fall over. He can't stop from every fucking building from falling over when he's got three people punching him in the face, and there's a fucking big machine that's trying to destroy the world.
Nuh-uh.
Super.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. I don't know. Shit is annoying.
Yeah, that's why I don't bother having these like arguments or whatever with shit like that on the internet anymore.
Yeah, I stopped.
You're not gonna be able to convince those people, no matter what kind of logic you use, no matter how you rephrase shit, no matter how much in layman's terms you put it. Those people you can't reason with people that don't want to be reasoned with.
It's true.
Yeah, and the other thing that really pisses me off is that these guys will shit on Man of Steel, and I keep using this as an example for a reason, because they specifically target that movie. And they'll say, "Oh, that movie's a piece of shit," but then they'll like, "Oh, well, you know what? I loved fucking Days of Future Past. It was
yeah."
You know, and I loved Iron Man 3. Fucking blow a load on both those movies. They'll suck ass. Fucking garbage. Both those movies. You don't garbage and you don't fucking know anything.
Yeah, I was telling Strident one day. I was like, I can't believe people buy the hype that Days of Future Past is the best superhero movie in a long ass time. And I was like, did these people not watch what Spider-Man was doing in the Amazing Spider-Man 2? I was like,
or did they not watch fucking
so much better?
Did they not watch Winter Soldier? Like that blows away everything. It blows away the Nolan trilogy. It blows away Man of Steel. It blows away all the other Marvel films that came before. It blows away the whole X-Men, everything. It's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I don't like if you just compare the action in all those movies, like X-Men had the worst action in between all three of those films, because the X-Men did a better job fighting each other than they did fighting the fucking Sentinels in both time zones. Yeah, like it was understandable that in the future they were getting slaughtered because they were like super Sentinels. But in the past, those Sentinels could like barely move. And you had Magneto, who in first class, he was like making subs come out of the water, and he was stopping missiles and shit. But then in that movie, in Days of Future Past, he puts that ring thing around the whole arena so that nobody can escape.
And he does nothing.
Sentinels show up, and he can't do shit.
Yeah.
He can't like metal out from other places to like attack the Sentinels with. He was just like, everybody fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I was saying, if the very first X-Men movie, I was like, they need to have the Sentinels in the movie, and the X-Men need to go ham.
Google's trying to stop you, man.
They all just die. All they just die. Dude, I would put Chris Evans, Captain America, up against all the fucking X-Men in Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
He would fuck all them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He would win, hands down, no problem. And
you watch fucking Winter Soldier, and you just see Cap running shit. He fucking jumps off a bike onto a fucking Quinjet, fucks that Quinjet up, and jumps off back onto the bike, I'm pretty sure. Like, come on. depressing clothes and their tight pants. We're going to go back to the past and ruin this story that people love
and know nothing about.
Because Wolverine's got to be naked in 2 scenes in the movie.
Yeah, man, that movie was fucking lame.
Oh,
like you saw, like in Amazing Spider-Man 2, if you think about it, you see Spider-Man doing everything that you've ever seen him do in the comics. You see him being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man when he saved home. You saw him saving people. You saw him using his spider sense. You saw him zipping around and on his webs and shit. Everything. It was better. I'm sorry to say this because I like the Raimi movies other than the third movie, but it kills the Raimi movies. I'm sorry. Yeah. Motherfuckers can claim me all they want, but it's better than the Raimi movies.
It does.
That movie was.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They should have just made The Amazing Spider-Man 2 the first movie.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm taking it from. I'm starting with that movie, and then fuck that first movie. That first movie, ooh.
And the shitty thing is people complain about the lack of the character development in the villains in that movie, like as a huge weak point of the film. But
it's not about the villains.
If you look at Days of Future Past, like
there's no development at all.
That story is just as weak. It's even more weak than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Wait up. What about this? What about the fact that, and this is my gripe. I was talking to one of my homeboys about the freaking The Flash, and why I don't like the series that much, even though it's not a horrible series, but story-wise, it's just freaking the Big Bang from Milestone, and they put that in with the Flash, and I'm like, I hate when someone makes a plot that's derivative of an existing plot, and you can sum up the entire series with that. It's Bang Babies. That's it. Everybody got their powers from the fucking particle accelerator explosion. Yeah. Lame, because that's not the Flash. Now, Days of Future Past, and this is the one that I laugh at so much. It's Terminator 2 with mutants, and it's a lame version of Terminator 2. It doesn't have the action. It doesn't have the emotional weight, even though they present it in a way where it feels almost like from the trailers and shit. Like, this is some deep, heartfelt, like, serious shit's about to go down. It's not serious shit going down. Like, it's not.
Yeah, they made it look like Professor X was going through some shit. Professor X was going through withdrawal the whole movie.
Why in fucking 4 films now? And why in 4 films has this all been surrounded around Mystique?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares about Mystique? I don't even read a comic book that's got her in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's not.
Why is she a big deal? I don't understand.
I don't know. He thinks she's sexy because she could probably turn into a man. There you go. Mic drop moment. There you go.
I know.
But you're seriously, like all you guys out there that love that movie, like, you're seriously going to tell me it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and it's one thing to say, you personally just enjoyed it yourself. And you see the flaws, but it worked for you. There's movies like fucking Howard the Duck. That movie sucks balls. Like if you look at it, like on a structural level, you look at it like as a serious, as a critic, it's horrible. But is it fun to watch to some degree? Yeah, the shit's funny as hell because it's so bad that it's good, kind of, There's
this is just straight up bad.
Yeah, it is. And
it's trying to be good.
And I don't get how people can't admit it. It's one thing to say you don't see the flaws and you just enjoy it because it is what it is for you. But it's another thing to try and convince all these people who can tell you what's wrong with it, and it's all valid criticism. It's a different thing to tell them they're wrong when they can tell you, like, this doesn't work. This makes no, like Transformers. Anytime you have that conversation, it's like, you cannot convince me that those are good movies because I can tell you everything that's wrong with those films. And if an 80s cartoon is deeper than a fucking 10, 11, 12, and 2014 film, or 2007, whatever, the 4 movies, and they spent almost $1 billion, or they made almost $1 billion, and the fucking cartoon is smarter. And those cartoons are so stupid. Like, when you go back and you watch old Transformers, it's painful sometimes. But there's parts, there's things in there that it shows intelligence, and you're like, wow, somebody was really trying to write with this episode or that episode or this 4-part series or something, you know? And you just can't convince me that Transformers is a good movie. Not even on...
Well, you got shitty versions of those episodes in the movies. Like if you look at the 4th movie, you know, you have your standard plot, then you have, you know, Megatron or Galvatron. They show up, they fight, they get beaten back, and then he runs away. And it's like, I'll get you next time, Optimus. Like, that's exactly the cartoon, you know, in a nutshell. But they did such a shitty job with, you know, executing the story that I don't care what anybody says, fan or no fan, like, that's what you got. You got a shitty ass episode of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, worse than it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what has been a good thing, fixable thing for them to do? Do what Star Wars did. Have the bad guys win in the second one.
Yeah.
At least it would have made it a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that was always my thing. I was like, if I had control over that franchise, I would have done the infiltration, escalation, and devastation storylines, because they all follow.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth.
The whole thing is a retelling, and in the 3rd movie, the Decepticons fucking win. Like, they take over, and the whole 4th movie, which would be all hail Megatron, would be the Autobots trying to fight back and take back, you know, New York, because they took over the fucking world. Like Manhattan, the whole island was their hub, was their headquarters, because they cut off all access to that island. You see Devastator destroying bridges. You see him destroying the subway line, and all the humans, if they're not above ground, they're all underground, like in the subway,
trying to hide.
That's the only way they could hide from the Decepticons. And even then, they're still in danger, because you have the smaller Decepticons like Ravage and Frenzy and Rumble, who could get down there and fuck with them still.
Yeah,
because that was happening in the comics too. Like, it would have made such a much more epic movie series than the shit that we got.
Yeah,
when you would have had the Transformers as the main characters in the film, other than the supporting characters that we got.
Yep.
Yeah, because the route that they decided to go was, let's just go the safe route and just have it be all about the humans.
Yeah.
For 40 minutes, Megan Fox. Do I really need 40 minutes of Megan Fox?
Yeah.
She's not naked?
Talking?
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't care.
Is it talking?
I just don't care about those people.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, just be like, even back then, like, it was long ago enough where if you, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a risky movie. Okay?
Yeah.
That was a movie that not a lot of people fucking nobody knows about those characters, and it made it all about them. Just like you're supposed to make the Transformers all about the Transformers. It's called Transformers. It's not called Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox and the Transformers.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the human element if you're going to see a movie called Transformers.
Yeah.
But it works because they think it works because people went and saw those films, and they did the same exact thing in the whack-ass Ninja Turtles movie.
Well, people have been trained. It's that whole
Megan Fox again.
Yeah, it's that whole training to teach people that, you know, Optimus Prime needs lips and human features in order to be more relatable. I mean, the fact that he walks on 2 legs when he turns into a robot and has 2 arms and a head, that's not human enough. They had to give him lips. His fucking mouthpiece had to drop by. So now, something that used to separate different types of Transformers is no longer there because they need.
And it's not like Peter Cullen isn't such a shitty voice actor that he couldn't have conveyed, you know, whatever feeling was necessary. Being that he's voiced that character since, you know, the
dawn of fucking time. Yeah. And like, think about all the, I was talking to my older son, and he said he likes the way Ultron looks. I said, I think Ultron his face looks stupid because once again, they took a robot, because God forbid you can connect with the character without human features. Like, once again, Ultron's face used to be this scary ass jack-o'-lantern thing looking, you know?
No.
And then now, and he had the robotic voice coming from it, all the emotion, whatever. He's supposed to be emotionless because he doesn't think that humanity is a plus. Why do you give a character, this is my only criticism so far, because I think people are jumping, they're getting too excited and they're not like allowing the movie to show up first and then we can judge it. It'll probably be good, don't get me wrong. But this is another thing that after Transformers, every robot that you see, they gotta give it super, you know, expressive features in the face. It was cooler when he had no expression, just the one that he was, you know, given, the one that he was built with, because he doesn't give a shit about humanity. Why would he make a body to make himself more human if that's what he thinks is the issue? You know what I mean? Humanity is the issue. We're going to wipe you motherfuckers out, but I'm going to look just like you. Get the fuck out of here. So
yeah, that's stupid. They would want their own vision of their own.
Exactly.
They would want to look like something superior to them.
Exactly. And I that was my gripe when I saw him. I'm like, why did they turn around and make his face all, you know, expressive? I hate that. But whatever, you know.
Yeah, you could do that with Vision because
exactly. That was the point. That was the
Vision.
point of Vision too. But
yeah,
you know, once again, you got designers who don't get the characters 100%. They might get, the actors might get the character, but the concept artists don't fully get it because they're overthinking it. Like, remember we were talking about the Pretenders, Clarion. We were talking about the Pretenders and Transformers. Actually, you, me, and Agent O, we were talking about them the other day when we were playing Vegas. How, like, if you have Pretenders that can look like human beings in Transformers, like 100% to the point where a little boy is horny because it's a girl who looks good and she's following him and she's paying him attention and he doesn't even realize that there's something off, you won. Because that's all you need and you could take over the earth. But instead, somehow that was a plot twist that wasn't really a big enough twist. It didn't go anywhere. It just was there. It was an inclusion, and that's it.
It was there for spectacle, and that was it.
Yeah.
Even the psychology in the scene didn't really make sense about how she actually acted like a real girl and got all like pissy when like things didn't happen the way they should have. I'm like, no, she was trying to get something from him. She should have just tried to get it from him the quickest way possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But instead, like that scene, literally, like again, psychology wise, like went on like
way too long,
like 3 minutes longer than it should have. Like, no, she should have just like appeared in his room, found what she was looking for, and then killed him because she could because she's a fucking robot.
Yeah,
and she could like lift like 5 tons.
Yeah, but instead,
she couldn't kill him because
reasons
plot. Because plot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about Age of Ultron? Me personally, I think like this is one story that I hope it's not like the actual comic.
The comic?
I fucking hate it.
Me too. Me too.
There was a ghetto
about it I liked.
Huh?
There was a ghetto version of Days of Future Past.
I like certain things about it. I like some of the time zones they went to, but I didn't like the way some of the characters bought it.
It didn't make sense, in my opinion. Age of Ultron as a comic, it was just like, it felt like fan service in a lot of ways. Once again, the story somehow ended up focusing on Wolverine, so they wanted to sell books, so they did that. The whole Wolverine
it's called Age of Ultron. There's no Ultron.
Yeah, he was hardly in the story.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't like how he just magically beat everybody, and they didn't really show how he beat everybody. I don't know, it was boring to me. It just felt like let's make an event book for the sake of making an event book. I'm hoping that this Age of Ultron is the Ultron story from when he first showed up. Back in, what was that, the 80s or the early 90s? It was the 80s or the early 90s, late 80s, something like that.
Yep.
I want that story.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it will because
I think that's what they're gonna go for. I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
You think about it, Loki was the first villain that the Avengers fought.
Yeah.
And then the next big storyline was Ultron. So yeah, it does look like it's heading in that direction.
Yeah, I hope so. Because that's what I want to see. That makes sense.
If they go that route.
Yeah, it would make sense. Make all the sense in the world.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I was like, when I was reading Age of Ultron, you know, I saw like Cap sitting in a corner with his shield broken, and I'm like, you guys are really retreading this? Like, like it didn't make any sense to me to see these images from books that happened before, and those books are actually relevant, and they're a big deal because this was the first time this shit happened. Cap's shield's been broken a bunch of times since then. It's not a big deal to see a comic in 2014 with Captain America's shield broken. Nothing has the impact that it used to have because they've overdone everything for all the years since those first things happened. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed like after the 90s, it was nothing but excess with comics. They overdo everything to the point where nothing, who gives a shit? Nothing matters. And, that's why I get bored with modern comics.
After Superman died?
Yeah. There you go.
After Superman died, then everybody started dying.
Yeah. Yep. That shit, it's booty.
Because that crossed over. Like I said, that made national news.
I know, it was on the news. I heard about it on the news, not in my comic book shop, in the news.
And when was the last time that happened before that?
I know, never.
Anything comic related.
Mm-hmm. Well, Batman 89. There you go. Batman came out.
Yeah.
People were talking about that on the news.
But did you notice Nightfall never made the fucking headline news?
Yeah, I know. Because it was a gimmick by then, you know. They knew people kind of, they knew what to expect, and they kind of weren't impressed. You know, I don't blame folks for not really giving a shit about Batman being taken out of the, taken out of the picture for a little while, because they knew he was coming back. Everybody knew he was coming back.
Yeah. They're like, God, we know where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird because people still buy into it. Like Wolverine just died, and everybody's like, well, it's basically like everybody's taking bets as to like how long it's going to be before he comes back.
They already said
like,
it's like 2
why
years.
are you buying the books then if you already know he's coming back? Like, this should hold no significance to you anymore.
Well, people are
exactly. It shouldn't even be canon.
Yeah.
People are trained. It's the simple, answer, and it sucks. People have been trained to buy. It's like pre-ordering shit. People pre-order everything, and they don't even bother thinking, like, will this thing really be sold out? Like, do I really need to pre-order this shit? Like, people are trained to do it because they've been told that they need to do it, so they do it. So they buy comics that they've always bought just because they've always bought that comic. You know what I mean? They're in a rut. That's the way they do things, and it's part of their daily routine or their monthly routine or whatever. Your weekly pull, if you will, and that's the way it is. They don't even bother to think about what they're buying anymore. They just buy it, and that's the frustrating thing. It's like consumerism to the umpteenth degree. I'm just like, hey, fuck that shit. As soon as I noticed that I was paying more and getting less, I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not buying comics anymore. I will read them through alternative means.
Yeah, they just keep getting more and more expensive, man.
Yeah, like, why does every book need to be on
it's like
magazine?
$4 for a fucking Batman comic.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going to make $4 for a comic?
Yeah.
For one issue?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Because everything's made on, like magazine quality paper.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, why do we need
that?
Magazine
quality paper.
It's not all quality. Why do we need that? But somehow they feel it's quality. This shit gets on my nerves. And
it also diminishes the point of, like, buying a trade once a storyline is done, because if I just paid, $4 for a 6-issue run and the trade is still $24, the same price as the 4 issues before, with nothing extra, no letters to the editor, no screen, no layouts, no sketches, no nothing extra. Literally just the 6 issues that came. Why would I buy the trade?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. But that's where we are.
I mean, buying the trade though makes sense for people that don't want to buy all that.
No. What we're saying is, like, how if you could buy, why would you buy a trade? Because some people will buy both. And some people will wait for the trade because the trade usually has the story and then some. But why would you wait for the trade if you're not going to get the and then some? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just getting the book. You just may as well buy the paid, the individual books. I mean, like, Ultimates 1 and 2, I bought individually, and then I bought the trades. the trades had extra shit in there, and they had like the script was in the back of one of them. I think it was the second one. It was like the whole script for like the first couple issues or something, and it had sketches of like, you know, what the original artwork looked like before they made tweaks to what we saw in the book, you know, in the final. And that's shit I want to see, you know? I don't want to see, I don't want a bare bones fucking, you know, collected edition or whatever. Like, you know, the trade should have a little bit more. It's like buying a special edition Blu-ray. If it says special edition, if it says special edition on the box, I want the extra shit. I don't want the same exact thing that my DVD has with no extra anything. That's bullshit.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a phase where I was like just buying trades and then buying the tie-in stories.
Oh yeah.
On the sides, I could get that aspect of like, oh, I want to see these other characters and how it's affecting them too. So I would just wait for the trade and buy the tie-in issues and not even bother buying like what was it? What was the last run I bought? Court of Owls, I'd say.
Yeah.
Was the last big run I bought, and I bought all the tie-ins, and then like I bought the trade first, and then I went back and I bought the individual issues. And it's just I don't know. For me, I was doing that for a while, just with certain things because I don't know. It was a little bit cheaper to do that as well instead of getting like all the tie-ins and then all the separate issues, especially spending like
$4 or $5 a piece,
$3 or $4 per issue. That gets expensive, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I use alternative means to view the entire run over the event.
Yeah, I don't see how people have the money to follow. Like, when we were kids, it made sense because comics were like 75 cents a piece, or, you know, some of them were $1. You know what I mean? Like,
most expensive ones were what? Well, because we were in our teens when Image came out, and it was like $1.95.
Yeah,
that was
I remember them being $1.25.
Yeah, when they first came out.
Like, if it was like a foil cover or something, you paid like $3.
I remember buying comics that were $1. They were $1.25 and all that. So if they were more than $1.50, it was because they had like more pages.
Yeah,
I remember when they were 75 cents.
Me too.
Yeah, I remember I bought a couple comics less than $1 too. Yeah,
I got a whole bunch of Spider-Man comics that, like, good ones that were freaking 75 cents a piece, you know? And then I remember, like, in the middle of one of the runs, it went up to $1. I was all pissed. I'm like, I can't drink milk today.
I can't get my chocolate milk.
You know?
so you learn to make sacrifices at an early age.
Oh, yeah, I had to know what was going to happen.
Prioritize.
His milk and eat it and read it too.
Yeah.
I had to prioritize, man. Like,
Exactly.
I gotta get this book. Oh, well, I'll have milk tomorrow.
Exactly. But, man, yeah, things have changed, man. I don't know. Well, I was telling Agent O and Prime about...
thought you were telling Jesus.
I know, right? Like, hey, y'all don't hear me. No, I was telling them about watching, like, I was watching The Spectacular Spider-Man, because a lot of people have told me, like, when we get into the debates about great cartoons, you know, superhero cartoons, I always stick with Justice League Unlimited because nothing has impressed me the way that did. And they always say, oh, you need to see Spectacular Spider-Man. And number one, I hate Cheek's style. I don't like the style of that film. I know who the artist is. I knew him before before he got the gig, you know, as the director on the show, or design lead on the show. And I just never liked his style, unless, because he did Teen Titans for a little while in the comic, and it was the comic that was based on the cartoon, and it fit perfectly for that. But for Spider-Man, I always wanted something that looked a little bit closer to what the comics looked like. And to me, that style just doesn't fit. And if you want proof, just look up any picture of Venom, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. He just doesn't look scary. He doesn't look intimidating. He doesn't look, I mean, he's big, but everything looks so cute that I'm just like, yeah, no. But I watched
I remember the toy for that, and then not being impressed by the toy.
Huh?
I said, I could have sworn they made toys of that.
Oh, of Spectacular. Yeah, they did make toys. I don't remember what the toy looked like though. I wasn't looking at it.
They looked a lot like the cartoon, but just in 3D. I just remember looking at the Venom toy and just not being really impressed with it because it didn't have that intimidation factor.
Yeah, but the show has some of the tightest writing that I've ever seen in like recent books. It's by the same team that did Young Justice. God, I know one of the guys' names is Greg Wiseman, and God, what's the other guy's name? I'll look it up so I don't, fuck that up, not give them their props.
They're trying to bring back Young Justice.
Yes, what I heard. I heard it's supposed to be coming back soon.
And I heard the X-Men are coming back.
Yeah, the '90s X-Men. Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
I don't know either. Let me see. Greg Wiseman and man, I clicked on the wrong shit. But anyway, the writing in that show is it's fucking amazing in a good way that like it stays kind of true to the feel of the original Spider-Man stories from like the 70s and 80s. And but there's enough twists to keep it kind of new so that we can't like 100% like know what's going to happen. Like we know the characters, but we don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. It's Brandon Vetti. No, that's
Brandon
not.
Vietti. Yeah.
Vietti? Yeah.
Vietti.
I hope that's the right. I think it's someone else that did Spectacular though with Greg Wiseman. But Spectacular. But the writing is just so good. They use different.
This is what's called fact checking, boys and girls.
I know, right? Yeah, it's Greg Wiseman and Victor Cook, and but Greg Wiseman, he's one of the creative leads on Young Justice. The writing is so good, and they used characters that I want to say that if you're like in your 30s, you'll recognize these characters, the names that are used and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But like if you're under 20, you probably will have no idea who a lot of these characters are. You'll be like, who the fuck is Liz Allen, or who the hell is Tombstone, or fucking Silvermane, or Silver Sable. There are all these characters that like they haven't really been in Spider-Man books for a very long time. I mean, some of them showed up in Ultimate Spider-Man. But
man, it would be so cool if they did like they had like a team up with Taskmaster and Tombstone.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
And they threw in like even if they did like Amazing Spider-Man movie with and they could do like a team up like the Punisher and Spider-Man team up, or Daredevil and Spider-Man team up against those two. That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
to like
mix things up. That would be cool. It'd be different.
Yeah,
but the show, man, it's a
different and dangerous.
Well, different
things.
No,
different is dangerous.
Yeah, these days, yeah.
Risky
is dangerous. You're right.
These things cost money here. We can't spend time on different.
It's frustrating because if they did, just imagine what the results would be. You see it every time.
It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, like every time they do it, you get shit like people didn't like Pacific Rim, but Pacific Rim did really well at the box office. I mean, so much so that we're getting a 2 and a 3 and a TV series.
Yeah, fuck those people that didn't like that movie.
Yeah, I'm like, what were you expecting? Yeah. Fucking robots beating up monsters. Come the fuck on. Like, really? I hate that there's that built-in audience that has to diss shit that has imagination. So, I say fuck those people sideways. Like, I don't give a shit what they think. It's just not cool. It doesn't make sense.
Sideways on my couch.
In the ear. Like fuck them. No, because it doesn't make sense. It's like it's the same thing that, you remember there was an episode of Game Theorists where they pointed out how gamers complain about the lack of innovation in games. But then whenever something does it, then it doesn't sell.
Something innovative comes out, it doesn't sell.
Because no one buys it because they want the same old shit. So it's
like Call of Duty.
Yeah, and to
they threw that in. The saddest example of that was when they showed the numbers for Super Mario 64, which I thought was like
one of the best games ever.
The best games ever made.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, freaking Super Mario Brothers Wii, a new Super Mario Brothers Wii, like blew that out of the water. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
that hurt me. That hurt me a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy because you would think that, you know, people want new. When they do new and they do innovative, it would get your attention because it's something presented to you in a way you never thought of before. But then they always diss it. You know what I mean? And then every time we get a film that deviates, and it's not a sequel, it's not a remake, it's not a prequel, you know, it's not part of a trilogy, it's a brand new IP, people shit on it. Unless it's a horror movie, of course. You know what I mean? If it's a horror movie, of course, it's just perfect because people are getting killed. Fucking psychos out there that love that shit. But
Pacific Rim had giant monsters in it. People like they
got
don't
smashed.
Like giant monsters. They don't like giant monsters. They're like, man, they make that noise right there.
Yeah, everything made that noise. You turn on the robot, it's like wah. But
coming this summer.
I know, in the year 2005.
You'll never forget. From the closet.
From the closet. But it's one of those things, man.
2015.
I just don't get it. I don't get it, and it frustrates the shit out of me. I mean, it seems like we always get to that this part of the conversation always happens whenever we have these geek out moments where we're like, you know, it sucks because we want to see new shit and we want to see it done differently because that would work. People want that, but you look at every aspect of the way society is working right now, and everything is what worked before is the only thing we're going to do. We're not going to deviate or anything.
Dude, when we sit here and say that people want that, but then like you look at the box office for Transformers, all of them, and it hurts. I'm not telling, dude. Listen, Movie Bob said it best. Like, look, the hogs love their slop.
It's true.
Period.
It's true.
Like they want to go see the movie, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to go see them. Whatever. If that's what you want. If that's all you want out of movies is like shit blowing up and big TNA, whatever. Then just
shit, we didn't even get TNA in that movie. If we had got some big old hosses bouncing in front of us, I'd be like, yes, the movie is awesome. Yes, at least because you know, like I like B movies, and a thing about B movies is sometimes they know their limitations. So like to make up for it, they just throw in random hot chicks, and you're like, oh my god, and she's naked. Oh my god, and we're seeing some muff. Oh my god. And it's funny because you're like, you knew the movie couldn't really stand on its own without those things. So you know they know their audience and they know their limitation. Whereas like Transformers really didn't give anything to you. I mean, it gave you the spectacle of transforming robots, but they transformed into walking vaginas, ugly ass vaginas. I'm like, I don't like that shit. They look stupid and they're transforming while they're fighting. Like,
the first movie gave them to you. This last movie.
Oh my god!
I mean,
I tried to skip that part.
Got too expensive. I guess it must have got too expensive. They just all turned into like Connects bricks, and then like reformed into a robot. I'm like, then why would you even fucking transform into a damn anything other than a robot?
Yeah.
You should just be a robot and then turn into the bricks whenever you don't want to get shot or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Form.
Why even use the car? It's like again, the way they were building that movie, it was like
it didn't make any sense.
One word explains where that movie, where literally everything that happened would have made more sense. I'm like Stunticons, period. That should have been it. They tried to build cars that would have been the new Autobots, but they all just went bonkers.
Yeah.
Because one of them is Megatron, whatever. I freaking hated that idea too.
Yeah. But Megatron died like 3 times in that series.
Megatron was a punk bitch. And it hurt my heart because he's my favorite Transformer. It hurt my heart so bad. He wasn't really in the movies ever.
He was barely in this movie. I'm like, he just kind of showed up and even like, CinemaSins brought up a good point, is like, find my seed, it's here. Well, if you know where it is, go find it.
Yeah, go get it. Nobody could stop you. You were like Godzilla. I mean, everybody was talking about him. Like, oh my God, when Megatron gets here, your ass is grass. He's gonna kill everybody. Then he got there and he got killed by a little boy with a cube. I'm like, wow, that's not what I was expecting for Megatron.
Because the little boy had the touch.
Yeah, but then in the third movie, you got punked by that
Oh no, but yeah, that shit hurts.
Yeah, I hated the third movie how he got punked by that woman. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, if this was Megatron in like the comics,
he would have killed her.
And he's sitting on top of Lincoln. Yeah, he would have mushed her with his foot and smeared that shit off his foot and went on and wrecked shop. Like, he wouldn't have been listening to that shit.
Megatron in the first movie slapped people with his bare hands.
Yeah.
He just looked at it. He pulled like a friggin' gunner from Expendables, like insects.
Yeah.
Except they literally were insects to him.
Yeah, it's true. I still think it's hilarious that like every single time we do one of these, though, we somehow get on the subject of how bad Transformers it was. Like every time, because it's just infinitely bad.
Yeah, I know it hurts, man.
The wound will never heal.
Yeah, I'm a huge Transformers head, and it just it's like Bizarro World.
Yeah.
And I can't ever wrap it around my head about how bad those movies are and that people still support them.
$1 billion dollars, over $1 billion, $1 billion
$1 billion.
That doesn't make any damn sense. Like, how can you do something so poorly and make so much goddamn money? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Well, no, and China, actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
China thrives off that shit.
Like, they're footing the bill for some of this stuff now, and I'm like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
I love, again, another great observation. It's like Hong Kong isn't even it's not one of the biggest cities in the world. It's not even one of the top 5 biggest cities in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow
but yes, this is where you need to detonate the seed in the largest city. That just sounds stupid. that minimal chance of success. But the guy, the guy, the friggin' Stanley Tucci's character wanted to detonate it in like the middle of the Gobi Desert. That sounded like a plan.
Yeah, because you turn that into like the type of land that you wanted, where you could create, whatever.
Well, you can mine all the transforming you want, and however long the seed grows, it's great because you're not going to hit civilization. No one's going to know. No one's going to have access to it for like miles.
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant. But this dingbat, like, I need to detonate my seed in the largest city. Recipe for fucking failure. Way to go.
He wasn't paying attention in class.
Apparently not.
In Megalomaniac school.
You are less likely to succeed.
Yeah, Megalomaniac school, he was sleeping. He wasn't waking up.
And then, like I said, the whole wrestling, the whole pro wrestling intro that that nasty pyro that killed, what was his name, Lucas?
Oh Lord!
But somehow missed them. I'm like, dude, that was straight what?
It was just insensitivity. They were just being fucking insensitive for the sake of being insensitive. I thought that shit was hilarious, man. It had me rolling. I'm like, they straight up, they burned him and then made you watch him burn.
Yeah, man, that motherfucker was done.
Like, he was so dead.
Couldn't even stick a fork in him because he was so charred.
He was so dead.
All metal now.
And it's messed up because he didn't really do anything. Like, if that was Marky Mark or his daughter, I would have been like, shit.
Or the boyfriend.
Yeah, I would have been like, damn.
Yeah, because they're like, wow, he friggin' went and drove them all, and wow, that's what happens to him?
Yeah, I know, right? Then it would have been like, this movie is hardcore. Kind of like the Heavenly Sword movie. How they kill off, what's his name? Thomas Jane's character gets killed off the minute he gets the sword. And that was kind of what they changed the plot to. They made the plot all about, there was a, what's his name? Shen had a son because you know he always wanted a son, and he had a son. They made him kind of a man whore in his quest to have a son, and he didn't know because one of the women he humped by force kept it from him, and so they find out that he has a son from Bohan, and then the girls go and hunt this guy down so they can give him the sword and he can save everybody. So he gets the sword, and as soon as he gets the sword, he holds it up like He-Man, and fucking Flying Fox chops his head off. I was like, God damn, this is messed up. No, you don't. Not anymore. They straight murked him, and it was just kind of like, damn, this is ruthless. But yeah, they should have done something like that in Transformers. Because then you'd be like, damn, they're changing the way they do stuff. This isn't like, the same bullshit, annoying jack-off comedy that they've been doing for the last 3 films, where nothing has any type of sense of urgency or anything, Like, you just feel like, oh, we're going through the motions. Here's the chase sequence again. Here's the, introduction to whatever new Decepticons you got in this movie, this time. It just, I don't know. The movies suck. God, they suck. It's just painful.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I don't know what they're gonna do with this last one outside of pull back the curtain and realize that ancient humans actually created the Transformers or some sort of BS like that. I'm like, it's like, oh, they're going to space. I'm like, there's no humans out there, right?
Oh Lord.
So I don't know what the hell you're gonna do. Oh, they're gonna be like Quintessons, and you crack them open. There's a human inside. I'm like,
oh man, yeah.
I'm just waiting for some dumb shit like that.
Mark Wahlberg's character is gonna build a spaceship, and they're gonna go out there and looking for Optimus Prime.
He's gonna build a suit of armor so he can fly up into space after him. He's like, I based this suit off of you, Optimus.
We can't just leave him out there. Come on, guys. How can you just sit around?
I'm going to be just like Iron Man. I got to be like Iron Man, he can fly, so I can do it too, because I'm an inventor. Like, wow.
I can do anything.
Speaking of Transformers, I saw...
What happened? It seems like,
and I know it sucks because it's a third-party figure. Cool is they're doing Perfect Effects doing a convoy figure. Looks nice.
Wait up, say it again, because it's like the powers that be are trying to cut you off.
I was saying, speaking of Transformers, that I was on TFW and they had this article about Perfect Effect is putting out a Leo Convoy figure, and I was like, damn, this looks great. I'm just afraid of the price.
Yeah, I don't even look at that shit anymore. I've literally swore off Transformers because I can't afford them. The only one I'm looking for that I don't have is, there's 2 of them. I'm looking for Thrust, and I'm looking for Perceptor, and that's it. The Generations Perceptor or United, whichever one I can find for an okay price, and I'm done.
Yeah, it won't be the United one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'm
it's all for like $200 on eBay.
Get the fuck out of here! I swear they drive up the prices for no fucking reason. It's not like it's hard to find. It's not like the figure is that amazing on its own. It's just a character that we've needed. I don't know. Fuck that shit.
So therefore, you pay through the nose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting the Keith Fantasy Club version.
The who?
It's the KFC. It's the Keith's Fantasy Club.
Don't ever call it that ever again. That sounds so good. Sounds so.
I know.
Not straight. I'm sorry. Keith's Fantasy Club. That sounds like something. KFC. It sounds like something that like a mail-in company that women sign up for lingerie or something
the Adam and Eve.
Yeah. What the hell? Keith's Fantasy. Keith has some serious fantasies in store for you. What the fuck? Where did they come up with that name from? Keith's Fantasy Club? I'm a grown-ass man. I don't want to be part of Keith's fucking Fantasy Club. What the hell?
I think you do. If you knew what you got,
I know, right?
Part of the club, you would be different.
Hey now. That's just not cool. Like, whatever. It sounds like it should be the name for something else, but they're making a variant of, or they made a variant of Perceptor.
Well, yeah, no, they did their own version of Perceptor. They also did, like they have a 2-pack now. It's Perceptor and it's Blaster. I think they call him Ghetto Blast in the
of course, of course. Wow.
But yeah, I mean they look pretty cool. and the whole thing, for both of them, it's $100. So
why does it always have to be $100? God damn! Like they're always $100.
The Monday.
Yeah, I know, right?
Monday.
please. They're always doing that, man. It's like and then the fact that people pay it. I'm not even get on my soapbox. I just can't believe that shit, though, man. For some,
yeah, no. I mean, I can't talk no more because I do it. So
yeah, I don't. I'm still gonna complain. Shit, it's too much money.
They get reinforced, man. Like, period. If you just put something out there and you go, I'm $100. Like, yeah, I'll take it. Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, who is it that's buying this shit? Can I meet them so I can sell them all my art and like they can just keep paying for stuff? I mean, I do decent art. Like, let me sell them some shit, you know? Like, you want me to draw you your Transformers? I'll do that. It's no problem. Buy my shit, you know? Like, God, how do these folks have the money to buy every single one of these things? Like, what the hell do they do for a living?
Even I don't do that. I have to be real picky.
God, yeah, I mean, shit, I am too. I mean, sometimes when I'm looking at my collection, I look at stuff and I'm like, yeah, I got to stop at a certain spot because I don't either have the room or I look at like a cherry pick, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Like I just recently separated some of my Batman villains from the rest of the villains. And I put like the Superman villains on one shelf, then all the other mixture of villains on another shelf, and then put the Batman stuff in my Batman, display case or whatever. And I was like, wow. When I separate them, it doesn't really feel like I have as much shit. But then when they're all grouped together, it's like, holy crap, you got a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking about all the folks who like, this can't be done because everywhere you go in their room is just a ton of shit. And I have a lot, but man, you got to think about like space. How do these folks have infinite space for all this shit? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or like if you buy it and then you put it in storage, what was the fucking point of buying it? If it's going to sit in a box in a fucking storage container that costs you money. Like, that's just dumb. Like, even if you rotate your shit, still, like, shouldn't you at least, like, buy the shit and take it out of the box and enjoy it or something? I mean, I don't know. To me, it just seems like a waste of money if you're just going to buy it and put it up and never really experience what you bought. Don't even check to see if all the parts are in the box. You'd never open it. You would never know. And you paid over $100 for some shit. Like, I can't subscribe to that shit. I get on your case, Agent O, for sometimes doing that shit. I'm like, you better open that. Because I can't.
Once the light of day hits it, and air passes through it, then it's just
it's not worth anything.
I mean, my thing is I don't have the room yet, which is why a lot of my stuff is still in boxes. Like, I'll take it out to play with it or do a review, and then I'll kind of put it back in the box just to store it and keep the dust off.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I play with my shit. Everything I get, all the figures I get figures that I want to play with them. I want to see what they look like. I will play with them for, a good portion of time. It's not like I'm going to put them away and never look at them again. I just can't do that shit. It almost feels like I've wasted money if I buy a figure and I never play with it. It is also how I determine which figures I'm going to give to my kids, because I'm like, I don't play with this. You can have it. There's a handful of figures that were like that. I'm just like, yeah, I never play with this. You can, beat this shit up. I don't care. But yeah, man. Yo, did you guys see the video? There was this video about this girl. I think the Hodge twins did. They talked about it. This girl's on the subway talking shit to this like really tall dude in a
Yeah, man, I
And
saw that shit.
and
I
then
already know what you're talking
he
about.
slaps the piss out of this girl, and it was in New York. I'm pretty sure from their accents.
Yep.
And one thing led to another.
Yeah, and this girl, she hit the guy for like almost no reason, and then the dude just whole-handedly fucking slapped her with the hand of God. It was so loud.
He said he called her like a stank bitch or some shit, and that's what set her off. After all the trash talking she was doing.
Yeah, and so like,
how dare he like
fight back?
That's just
well, it's just weird because like you have people still trying to turn it into an argument. You know, like should he have put his hands on her? Like, motherfucker, did you not see the footage? What like. I hate when these things get online because it's like people argue for the sake of arguing and there's no logic in the argument. Like, a guy was minding his business. A girl started picking on him. She was really getting in on him, saying he needed to get his money together and his fucking hat was old as hell and blah, blah, blah. For no reason. Like, if you lived in the East Coast, you've dealt with this shit and you know how annoying the shit is, you know? For any amount of time that you had to go without a car, you know how annoying this shit is. For all those folks who have lived elsewhere and never dealt with it, they're opening their mouth and they're like condemning the guy because he slapped a girl. At this point, she's not a girl. She slapped him. They're equal. She put her hands on him. Like when we train in martial arts, when we square up, you're no longer a chick. You're a fighter, and I'm going to hit you the way I'm going to hit anybody. You know what I mean? Like
you're a combatant.
You're a combatant. Now the playing field is level. I will fucking beat the shit out of you if I can, or you'll beat the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like that's combat. Why is it that the logic changes because she's female? You know what I mean? Like to these folks who have no idea how this shit works, they sit back and they just judge. It's like, it's so funny, and it's one of those things where it's just like, wow, we really are screwed as a species because people just, if the internet is a reflection of what we are, yeah, we're fucked. We're really fucked. No logic, no frame of reference for shit. Everybody just, they jump on whatever the group think wants to say that they should jump on today.
Everybody wants to feel like they belong.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Like, she literally hit him for no fucking reason. And nobody said anything about that part.
He slapped the camera guy twice, too.
Yeah.
Because he said something that, because, you know, she was talking all about that dude's style and how he was out of date. But then he said something about, I think it was about the boots
she said
he
that
had,
she
because
was wearing
nobody else wears those
Steve
boots now
Madden's.
because they're not in style no more. And she got mad at him. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're talking all that jazz, but
you can't
handle it when somebody else dishes it back to you.
And that's how it is.
Exactly. That's something about you. It's like, it's on now.
That's how it works, man. That's how it works. But I just thought the shit was funny. It's not really newsworthy because that shit used to happen every day when I was living in Jersey. Shit, when we were in high school, Prime, that shit used to happen all the time, every day. Like you ride any bus. And if it was after school, somebody was getting the piss slapped out of them or they were getting dropped. Every day. Every day.
And my biggest complaint about that video is the fact that it made national news.
Yeah.
Like I was like, of all the things like that go on a daily basis, why the fuck are you looking at that as national news? And I mean, and I know this sounds like conspiracy theory, but I was like, you guys are just doing this because it's black people acting ignorant.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's black folks, yeah.
Like there's tons of other videos, there's tons of other incidents that happen, but all of a sudden, I don't know. My sister sent me that video in like a mass text, and I just wrote sigh, like black buffoonery holding us back since holding us back about another 100 years or shit. I wrote.
Yeah. It's the truth.
I'm tired of seeing that shit because that's all people focus on.
Yeah, it's true.
Whenever there's black people acting up,
it's smokescreen from Ferguson. Like in the weeks after all that shit. Remember, even during the there was that hearing for what was it? It was like, I think
about the autopsy. The
autopsy. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was the autopsy, and they got their results back, and they're talking about the fact that he had traces of. Well, they found which direction the bullet came from, so they knew it was close range. It wasn't that he got shot when he ran away.
But see, that's the thing. They can't. It's not conclusive because shots that are from far away also can look close range. Like the way they framed it and the way they explained it, it was actually very poorly explained, because they were framing it in such a way that they were allowing the listener to draw conclusions that they shouldn't be able to draw based on the evidence that was given to them. But because they explained it a certain way, it made people think that, okay, now things are different. Now all the evidence or all the testimony they had before doesn't mean dick, because now they're saying, oh, the autopsy evidence states that he was closer, when in fact everyone else has been saying he was far away. And the ME even said that it's not conclusive that the shots came from up close, because it could go either way, because there's evidence supporting both.
So if it was up close, what difference does it make? It means someone shot him up close when he had his hands in the air.
Well, the cop was saying that like he was in the car lunging, going for his gun or something like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear about that.
That was when it first happened. So then if that's the initial contact, because he drove up to him, like the kid was walking down the street. I struggle to call him a kid because he's like 18 and like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
But so he comes up to him and like I guess he must have somehow addressed him. I'm not going to venture a guess as to what he actually said.
Yeah.
But he must have then came back to the car, and he said he reached into the car and like for his gun, and I guess must have struggled for it. Maybe that was the first time it went off. Like, or maybe they're pulling for it that whole movie.
So they're saying that the kid was outside of the car fighting the cop in the car, and the cop was trying to get his gun.
That's what he said.
That doesn't even sound right. Who the fuck would do that?
I guess that's
the thing. We don't know, because the dude's dead. Like, we only know what the cop is telling us.
There's only one version of events out now, so
I'm just saying, like, some of the shit doesn't sound like it. I mean, and that's why people were pissed off, is because a lot of it doesn't make sense, and there's too many versions of the story. I mean, like, clearly I don't know. My point, though, overall, was all these other stupid things have been popping up in the media, like Kim Kardashian's ass being photoshopped in that picture, and like all this other random shit to take the shine or the importance and the focus off of the shit going on in Ferguson and other places. Like, they're not talking about how all that military hardware, the military grade hardware they purchased, is hitting the streets now. Like, they're using that shit now. But no one's talking about that shit. Instead, they're all talking about Kim Kardashian's ass and fucking, the chick getting slapped on the subway in New York, which happens every goddamn day. Every day, somebody gets slapped, punched, elbowed, dropped, hit with a bag, cursed out, something. That's New York in a nutshell. It happens all the time. That's the subway, actually. It just happens. Shit happens like that on the bus. Shit like that happens here in Columbus. So it's like, it's not really a big deal, but yet people are focusing on that. But
they're supposed to release the verdict either today or maybe tomorrow as to whether they're going to indict that guy. But odds are I think they're not going to indict him, because the rumor has it that he's going to resign. Because if they were going to indict him, they would fire him, because that way he wouldn't get any legal aid from the police department or the state or whatever. But if they're not going to indict him, then he's going to resign and take his pension or whatever, take whatever pension he's built up, and just basically be done with police work. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets off. Because the police are already preparing for it. Like you were saying, they bought a shit ton of pepper spray, pellet pepper bullets, like these pepper bullets that are like 10 times hotter than the standard shit that they use already. Gas grenades. They are stocking up in case of rioting. Hell, even the Missouri branch of the KKK put out a statement, because they're basically looking for an excuse to shoot black people, because they're trying to say that they feel threatened by all the violence going on in Ferguson.
Oh my God!
and that with violence that was going on in community that none of them are a part of.
Yeah.
But they're saying that if anything happens, they're gonna defend, quote unquote, defend themselves with lethal force.
Wait, they have like official letterhead?
Yeah, they released an official statement.
How come we give a shit, and why do we let them even? That's like,
how is the KKK still around? We already know what they did and what they're capable of, and the government hasn't shut them down like they did the Black Panthers. I mean, come on. We know for a fact they were running around hanging people and lynching and burning crosses. You don't have any evidence of that you don't really have any evidence with that with the Black Panthers. You just had a Black Panther walking down the street with guns because they were exercising their right within the law.
Yeah.
And that was enough to get them shut down.
Yep.
Then you got the KKK who was fucking killing people.
No, you got them releasing, killing folks, and then releasing official statements. That's like...
Yeah, that they're going to.
That's like if the Joker was real and he killed all the people that he already killed. And then he released a statement that he felt threatened by the presence of Batman. Like, what the fuck? Like, really? Are you kidding me? You're exempt. No one gives a shit anymore. You are a target. You should not even say anything. Like, I swear, our world is so fucked up.
And if you really wanted to spin it, you could argue that that's a terrorist statement.
Yeah.
Because that's not something, because that's threatening to kill somebody because for whatever your reasons are. I'm pretty sure that's a violation under the Patriot Act somewhere. You can't just run around threatening to shoot people. Frame it however you want, because the guy was being interviewed by somebody on CNN, and the guy on CNN was basically saying, like, you're saying you're defending yourself, but from this statement, it sounds like you're the one who wants to really incite the violence.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, nope, if you read the statement, if you look at the statement, it says we will defend ourselves, but nobody's coming at the KKK like that.
Nobody's coming after you. Nobody's in your neighborhood, so you're not. What are you defending yourselves from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some shit you about to start.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Standing near where the shit is happening, which, by the way, is nowhere near where you live.
Exactly. Fuck them, man. Fuck them. Fuck them. That shit's not cool, man. That's all I can say. I got tons of F words for you. Fuck all you. Fuck you in your white robes. Fuck you in your hoods. Fuck you and your fucking swastikas and all your fucked up symbols. Just fuck the existence of the KKK. It's setting mankind back. Fuck that shit. I'm kind of frustrated when it comes to these kind of situations because of the lack of interest in all of us coexisting. It's not like we asked magically we didn't say, like, before creation, hey, can you throw a whole bunch of us on this planet and, like, make us all different colors so we can have problems with each other? Nobody asked for that shit. We're all here. And then somehow you're going to find reasons to want to kill all these folks instead of finding reasons and ways to work together. And it would be so easy to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's like work.
It wouldn't be work if they actually, like, look at it from a different fucking perspective. It's like when we complain about, in video games and comics, how there's that lack of equality. It's like, how can you be an artist and only draw or color with one crayon? That's fucking ignorant. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're colorblind, at least if you're colorblind, you have an excuse, but there are other colors that you can see. And you you kind of owe it to yourself to utilize all the ones you can see, and you can differentiate you can differentiate apart or whatever. But why would you have all that at your disposal? This fucking array of, nationalities and countries and features and complexions and eye colors and hair colors and sizes and widths and whatever, and you want to only do the same thing over and over and over? Like, the shit's beautiful. I don't know why people try so hard to find shit to hate when it would be so easy to just be like look at it and actually, take in what you're looking at and be like, holy shit, that's actually fucking awesome, because I didn't think that existed in real life. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's my dose of real for today. Fuck that. Oh, shit makes me so mad. That's why I stay in this kind of zone right here about, our comics and our entertainment shit, and action figures, because, like, the video game industry pisses me the fuck off. Fucking news pisses me the fuck off. You know, it's just so many little things. Movies somewhat piss me the fuck off because we keep getting the same shit recycled over and over. It's just TV sucks. You know, it's like, I don't know. There's so many little things that just frustrate me because it's like we're afraid of branching out and doing more than what we have been doing, you know, or do a little different from what we have been doing. But did you guys there's this show on YouTube called Getting Dug with High. And the dude,
I wanted to click on that, but I didn't.
It made me mad when I clicked on it because I'm like, this is some shit that goes back to, the only reason why I'm even bringing it up is because it goes back to what we were just talking about. The race thing. You will never see a black man have a TV show, or an Asian guy or Hispanic guy have a TV show in which he can get high with other people, and they're sitting there talking about, you know, the drugs that they're going to do on the show, and they literally just fucking get blasted on the show. And I'm like, wait, what planet am I on? Like, wait, when did this become legal? Like, wait, rappers and shit can't talk about, I mean, they do it, but they shouldn't talk about, if they do talk about drugs that they sold or drugs that they do, they end up on the FBI watch list. Doug,
shit, they end up on the rap sheet.
Yeah.
You ever see that?
Yeah, I did see that. They end up on the rap sheet. Fucking a white comedian, Doug Benson, does fucking all kinds of shit on his TV show with stars, with other stars. Some stars who hadn't even done the shit before, or supposedly hadn't done it before, but they're doing this. It's caught on camera. It's a fact. Most of the drugs are illegal. You know what I mean? And he can have a show with you know, high numbers and everything. And it's legal somehow. Like, it's, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people. This shit made me angry. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do to yourself. Whatever, cool. But the fact that dude has a TV show in which this is the case, like, really?
I'm not surprised at that at all. Like, the other day I was watching a video. Ice-T was in this radio interview show. Can't remember what it was. It wasn't DJ Vlad or something else. Uh-huh. Somebody asked him a question about, you know, about does he think it's crazy that that rappers like Eminem can get away with certain things that you couldn't back in the day? And he basically said, no, it's not crazy. He's not surprised by it because, unfortunately, you know, there's
the race issues.
You know, there's you know, it's white privilege basically. Like, it's acceptable for him because basically he's a white rapper that he can do this and still he can do or say certain things, and they might talk about it, but in the end, nothing happens, and he ends up being able to get away with it. It's just like he basically was like, you know, this is just how it's always been. It sucks, but you know, he's like, I'm not mad at the guy for it, you know, because it's not really his fault. You know, it's
society's fault.
It's we're all a product of the circumstance. It's Eminem's fault. I mean, Eminem's just doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not surprised that, you know, he can do that. I mean, think about why the fuck we have like crazy stop and frisk laws that, you know, target minorities when statistically, you know, whites are doing just as much drugs, if not more. You know, doing and selling just as much drugs, if not more, than anybody else.
Well, this is the thing, right?
The stats don't support it because they don't get caught with the drugs because they're not the ones getting stopped and frisked.
Yeah, but not even that. Here's another dimension to it. Where do the people with the money that buy the majority of the drugs live? Where are the drugs being made? Those places don't have the stop and frisk laws. Those places don't get the attention. So it's even worse. It's class more so than race. Race is the thing we see, but it's a class thing because they know where the shit's coming from. They're controlling. Most of them are controlling that shit. They just choose not to because it's bad for business. I don't know. Like I said, this is why I stay away from this part.
Well, I mean, like it's funny because you have movies that say like remember in Rush Hour when Chris Tucker's character was like, follow the rich white man with the money. Yeah. And that's where you'll find, you know, the problem. There's so much truth in that joke because the other day I was watching a Young Turks video and they were talking about that. I forgot what his name is, but he's a politician. I think he's with the he works in the government. Like he's super hard against drugs. Like I think he's like the drug czar or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's married to this Chinese woman, and her father owns a bunch of these companies. Like he owns a coal company. Like the dude is fucking stacked. He's got elephant dollars, and so he's been donating money to this politician dude for like the past 10 years. Like they looked into his finances, and the guy had his wealth has increased like 7-fold since he's been in office and since he's been married to this woman.
Yeah.
And so you know, I guess he was asking the government for like $10 million more because he wanted to really crack down on drugs, mainly marijuana. And so, you know, it wasn't long ago that there was this tanker off the coast of Colombia that got raided. And, you know, it was a coal tanker. And within the coal, they found about 40 kilos of cocaine on this boat, on this tanker. And so when they started looking through the manifests and all the logistical documents and stuff, and they were looking to see who owned this tanker, it turned out it was the company of that Chinese guy whose wife he's married to that owns that tanker from that company.
Surprise!
And the guy this dude can be indicted for this drug trafficking,
but he won't
because he was lobbying for deregulation of coal so there'd be less stringent regulations on on standards on coal and stuff, so that it would be basically it'd be easier for them to smuggle in drugs because nobody's going to be looking at coal basically.
The coal shipments.
Yeah, and so now this guy could face charges. You know, obviously, yeah, it's like you said, he's not going to.
Yeah,
but this is like as soon as I saw this watched this clip, I was like, yo, this is just like the fucking comic book The Losers.
Yeah.
Because they had a story in there where, you know, you had these big companies, these big corporations that were smuggling drugs through the shipping tankers. Mm-hmm. And there was a foreword in the comic book in the first issue, because I guess the foreword was by an I think he was an ex-CIA or FBI dude. He was like a high-ranking dude. And he was talking about this very thing because they consulted him for the book, for the comic, for, you know, to get an angle on some of these real life, like the real life shit that goes on that they could incorporate into the comics. And that was like the first thing I thought of when I saw this story, because it was like, here it is. There's like, you know, before you can hear it from a guy talking about it, but when you actually see it happen, it's like, now you know for sure, for not a shadow of a doubt, that this shit is real.
Yeah.
And this shit is happening. And this is why, like, our war on drugs is complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, what's in it? That's what I was going to say before, and I just remembered. Like, they said it back in New Jack City when that movie came out. Nino Brown.
Yeah, ain't nobody making oozes in Harlem.
Ain't nobody in Harlem got a poppy field.
Yeah.
So where's it? So all of it comes from outside of the city, yet all of the drug use is centered in this city.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like you need to trace this problem back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you're really serious about stopping it.
Yep. They're not going to.
But there's no money. There's no money in the cure. The money's in the medicine.
Yeah.
There's no money in stopping the flow of drugs. There's money in stopping the action drugs cause once they get here.
Or there's money in controlling the flow of the drugs.
Yeah. So,
you know,
I mean, as sad as that is, I'm like, you can't just say that, like, you know where 90% of the cocaine comes from. You know where 90% of the opiates come from.
Yeah.
Why do they still get here?
Yeah.
That's the other thing that kills me, because, you know, there's the war on terrorism, and you had the World Bank get caught. I mean, red-handed. Like, I mean, there was no way they couldn't even deny this shit. They got busted laundering money for drug cartels, and fucking Al Qaeda. They had Al Qaeda people they were laundering money for. And what's the first thing they tell you about if you want to stop, you know, terrorists, is you hit them in their wallet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you stop their money, then they can't fund any of their activities.
Mm-hmm.
But what did they do when they found out? They slapped the people on the wrist, people from the World Bank, and fined them, and that was it. So, they
they're
didn't
all
go
about
after
that
any
money.
of the people.
They're trying to get that money.
I mean, they didn't do anything. It wasn't that bad. I mean, come on,
Yeah, I mean, anybody who was out there, you can look this shit up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not making this shit up. This shit happened. It happened either earlier this year or it was last year.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it. Like, so what the fuck are we fighting then? What the fuck are we really fighting for?
We're fighting to keep fighting.
Shit. Yeah. Fighting for no reason.
I mean, you already people are already beginning to understand there was a reason why we kept making weapons because we intended to use them. Because all those nuclear weapons we got stockpiled right now, their expiration date is coming up.
Yep.
So they're starting to leak and rust and become a general hazard to anybody who happens to live nearby.
Mm-hmm.
So we may have to use them.
You got to come up with a reason to use them. Oh my God!
But we were trying, but Putin's not moving fast enough.
Pooty poot.
Oh man, fuck this shit. This is why, like I said, I stay in a whole different vein. It should. I'm aware of it, but we talk about it. We understand it. Things make sense to us. What should be done makes sense to us, but it seems not to make sense to the folks who are fucking everything up because it.
Look, if politicians solve.
What's up? Hello.
Oh, Clarion?
If politicians solve problems, they'd have nothing to campaign on.
It's true. Very true.
It's oh my God, there's nothing wrong. Everybody's got money. They just ran a story on 60 Minutes tonight about how the infrastructure's falling apart.
Yeah, it is.
Roads and bridges and stuff. And they've been saying this for at least a decade.
Yeah.
But you could possibly have a ton of bridges collapse because nobody's putting money into them. Nobody. And I'm that doesn't even make sense. These things were made by man. Anything constructed by man will eventually fail.
Yeah.
Like Abu Dhabi.
Well, that was supposed to be why we paid taxes, was to make sure we had properly kept roads and bridges. But all that money is going into, fighting these wars.
All that money is going into people's
over
pockets.
$1 trillion just on Afghanistan alone.
Well, and then don't forget all the people in Congress that are all up on that cocaine. And they have been for years.
Hey, that's one of the perks of the job, apparently. All this stuff that they talk about money.
I know, that's why they got the good health care.
It's right in.
Mm-hmm.
It's and all that shit they never talk about, money for no money for this or that. We're not going to spend money on this. These fuckers never fail to vote themselves a pay raise.
Yeah.
Never fail. But so there's money for them. And plus, the ones that don't make enough money from doing that job eventually leave to become lobbyists for God knows how many number of companies or one they just make up. And then they make money hand over fist doing that because they've been spending years in Congress, shoring up allegiances and shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Like I said,
that's the shit.
What's up? Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was that's the shit that just pisses me off, and that's the shit that I don't see ever really changing. It's you can't. That's why I love when people want to talk about we're going to get into Washington and we're going to change it. No, you're not. Washington is a machine.
Yeah.
It's going to keep doing what it's doing no matter who the fuck's there.
Yeah.
So either all you Tea Party people or are you extreme left progressive people, either you fall in line or you just get marginalized and you're done after one term. Because then you have to go back and say you couldn't do any of the shit that you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I think we should have. We should have anybody who serves a Congress or Senate. They need to have reduced terms. You can't sit there in Congress or in Senate for
20 years.
Half your lifetime. Because after a while, it's not about
changing anything.
Yeah, it's not about changing anything, or it's not about serving your constituents. It becomes about how am I going to stay in office, and then that's when you start taking kickbacks and shit, in the form of campaign donations to in order to keep your seat in the House.
Yeah, this is true.
But if you keep it to like 4 years and maybe you get reelected, and then you get another 4 years, and then after that you're done.
If the president can only be reelected once, so he can only be elected twice, why is that limitation not placed on everyone?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like you said in the beginning, it's a machine, and they want it to keep like that. Because the president is usually a puppet, and all the decisions are actually really made by the cabinet, not him. You know what I mean? Like it's like you said, it's a well-oiled fucking machine, and this works for those folks.
Yeah, even the Affordable Health Care Act. I'm like, I agree with the idea. Like, I'm like, look, insurance companies aren't going to cover certain people. That whatever, but you can't be denied emergency care. So when someone didn't have enough money to check out what the hell that thing was on their neck,
yeah,
and now they have to go to the emergency room, like the hospital has to treat them.
Yeah.
The hospitals pass that cost along to the insurance companies, and guess who the insurance companies pass that cost along to?
The rest of us.
Yeah, so there needs to be some kind of like payment in place to kind of cover that. But the hook is this. It's not technically government-sponsored healthcare because the insurance companies are still involved, which makes no sense to me. The insurance companies didn't want to cover these people to begin with. If they actually offered some sort of coverage to these people, then the friggin' Affordable Health Care Act wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
But no, they still want a piece of a pie they didn't want to eat to begin with.
Yep. Like I said, it's the money. The money. Everybody's trying to get...
Today I saw a story where there was this couple from Europe. They wanted to go on vacation. So they were going to go to Hawaii, but the wife is 6 months pregnant. So she was like, I better get insurance before I go. So she got insurance through Blue Cross Blue Shield. So they went on their vacation. While she was on vacation, her water broke, and she ended up having her baby in a hospital in Hawaii. And they were she had the baby, and they were in the hospital. Baby was born premature, like 9 weeks premature.
Yeah, so you said like 6 months. I'm like, oh.
And and the baby was in the hospital for maybe a month or two. And so when they went back, they got a bill from the hospital for almost like $1 million.
Get the fuck out of here.
She was like, how the fuck am I going to pay this?
Jesus
and so she called up the insurance company, and they were like, oh, you had a pre-existing condition which dealt with your pregnancy. So
called pregnancy.
So they basically are denying them. No. It was a UTI. It was a urinary tract infection. And that's the reason they're using to deny these people coverage.
Get the fuck out of here.
Really think that would.
It has nothing to do with their pregnancy.
Yeah. That wouldn't induce labor or cause. Oh wow.
Exactly. She even had her doctor send a letter telling them what exactly was up, and that still wasn't enough for them. So now they have to basically file bankruptcy because they don't really have any other choice because they don't have the money to pay the bill, and they don't have the money to go to court to fight them on this. So they're fucked.
Yeah. America, fuck yeah.
Hello, America.
Best system in the world.
God, man. Yeah.
My best system in the world.
Ugh, fuck.
Can't wait to bring this everywhere.
Fuck that shit.
And you think about it, when you see people in other countries and they look at America like it's like they think it's crazy that we don't have health care that covers anything that happens to us because where they live they're okay. They can go get medical coverage. I don't care what anybody says when they talk about they have to wait in line or they can't get a lung transplant because they'll be put on a waiting list or whatever. I'm like, we have all that shit here.
And when you need a lung transplant, you just go in on Monday at 9 o'clock, and then you're back to work after.
Yeah, I know. We have the Walmart of lung here in America. We have that shit.
Just
put on the aisle and pick a discount lung.
Exactly. Pick one off the rack.
This one's on sale.
Oh man, I don't know. They got a special on livers today. Pick up one of those too.
Get this Black Friday deal. Organs. We don't have that shit here.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's like and like I said, it is money. It all just comes down to money, which is the saddest part. I'm like, the answer's out there. I mean, and the worst part is it's not really that hard, but the problem is, like energy, if you make a shift, a whole lot of people that spent a lot of time building up a lot of money are going to be cut out of it, and they don't want that. And I don't blame them, but you're still assholes.
Yeah. Should I blame them? Because, this existence...
No, I don't blame them. I'm blaming them for wanting to protect their spot. No, I don't blame them at all. Like,
for protecting their spot, yeah, I hear it. But it shouldn't be at the expense of others.
And
I know
they got there.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's how they get there, and I know that's how it works, but that's not how it should be, and I know that's an idealist way of looking at things, but realistically, we all should just be able to get enough. If other countries, like you pointed out, can have it the way they have it, where they have free healthcare, they have free university, they have a standard living wage, you know what I mean? Like the minimum wage is a living wage, and it's not... This isn't a debate. This is how it's been. The whole thing takes care. All the parts take care of the whole. There's no excuse for us to not have that shit.
And the worst part about that is when they talk about raising the minimum wage, it's effectively like all the corporations that are not in favor are like, well, we'll have to raise prices to cover that. I'm like, no, you won't.
No, you wouldn't.
Because if you'll only raise you only have to raise prices to cover the increase in wages if you intend on still making friggin' $11 billion, which you probably shouldn't anyway.
Exactly.
I'm like Bill Maher, I don't watch the show very much, but he did say something that I just love the quote because it makes perfect sense. You can make $1 billion, but you cannot earn $1 billion. Like, you can sit there and say, like, yes, from fiscal year 2012 to 2013, my company made $1.5 billion. You didn't do shit to earn that.
Yeah.
You did not. Did you cure cancer? Did you figure out a way to turn freaking nuclear waste into flowers and sunlight? No. You cannot earn that shit, but you can damn sure make it.
Yeah, it's true. Especially here in America.
Of course, that's what we're here for, to make money, to make the money.
And all right, the money.
Don't get it twisted. The first big barons were like tobacco. It's and people knew what that did to you, didn't really care.
Yeah.
I don't know what eventually led them to accept alcohol, except people saying, we can make a lot of money selling this stuff.
Well, they always target the poor people, though. Poor people will drink that shit. It makes you feel good temporarily. Hell yeah, poor people will drink that shit. They're in dire straits to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and Vancouver is apparently apparently they are now going down the slippery slope.
Oh, Lord.
Because according to MSN, I just read the headline, I didn't read the story. According to The Atlantic, Vancouver experiments with prescription heroin.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Not even a synthetic, not even whatever they give people that not methadone, not nope. Straight prescription heroin. I'm like,
why don't they just allow people to use morphine or some other opiate?
It's just
ain't nothing
Christ.
like the real thing. Ain't nothing like the real thing.
That's fucked up.
Oh, that's crazy. They just skip marijuana.
No, I think. No,
that should tell you that marijuana is not a gateway drug when the government is like, nah, we'll just go straight to heroin because we can at least control the distribution of that.
But Vancouver's from what I was reading before, they're like the friggin' what's the name of that place?
What, Utopia?
No, the something of the West. That place in
No.
the Netherlands or whatever that they.
Oh,
you're
Amsterdam,
talking about
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yeah,
They're like the Amsterdam of the West. Like they're like
Yeah,
Amsterdam because they had like areas set up where like you could pretty much do like anything and it was legal, like any type of drug,
Yeah.
and it was legal in Vancouver. So I guess this is like something going like citywide. This is Vancouver. This isn't even like the entire
Of Canada.
province.
Yeah.
Like it's not the entire province of British Columbia. So
British
Vancouver's like,
Columbia,
well, give this a try. You can use all the heroin you want. Let's see if you can.
But that's the thing. Like the best weed in America comes from Vancouver. They call it BC Bud.
Wow, Phil. Wow. Wow. You are really like in
I just know
it. You just gave away like all this information that made you sound like you just know and you're into some fucked up shit. He's like telling you where the shit comes from.
That stuff.
And if you go down to 11th Street and you look at this guy,
you can look for Jose.
No,
Jose
man,
with the limp.
All you have to do is go on Netflix and watch the documentary.
Cocaine?
It's a good documentary about marijuana. It's just about marijuana. There's also another documentary called The House I Live In. It's really good, but it's sad and depressing because you see like why drugs are handled the way they're handled, like the legality of drugs. Why, like because they show you throughout history why, like you were saying earlier, Strident, about why drugs and alcohol are always targeted towards poor people. Like they go in on all that shit. Like they talk about how and back in the day when marijuana was legal, even before, like this is just after, like it was legal before. Then, paper companies started up and they wanted to push marijuana out. They wanted to push hemp out. So they made marijuana illegal. That way you couldn't use hemp either. Then after a while it became legal again. And then when everybody was trying to settle the West and you had a bunch of, immigrants, Chinese and blacks and Native Americans and, Mexicans and stuff, they were out there. They had all the jobs, building the West out there. And so, people were smoking marijuana because it was legal. Well, white people didn't like that shit. So, because they took our jobs. So they went ahead and made it illegal again, cracked down on everybody that was smoking, marijuana, which was all the minorities. So now all the minorities are getting arrested. Now white people got their jobs back. Same thing with the Vietnam War. Nixon wanted to get rid of all the tree-hugging hippies that were protesting the war. So he didn't want people to know that's why he was getting rid of them. So all they did was they started, that marijuana task force or whatever they called it, and cracked down on all the hippies because they were smoking marijuana. But he just wanted to shut them up so they could continue having the war in Nam. They go way into all this and. The socio economical ramifications of why these drugs are legal and how they even touch on the military, the prison industrial complex.
Yeah.
All that goes along with that.
The Rockefeller drug laws and all that stuff, like mandatory minimum sentences for even small amounts of possession. The whole bullshit of like, what is it if you're caught with any type of narcotic within 1,000 feet of a school, which spoiler alert is pretty much everywhere, especially in a friggin' city.
Yeah.
No matter where you are in a fucking city, you're within 1,000 feet of a school.
Yeah, so, just about.
Yeah, it's real screwed up.
Yeah, that was
like they were showing conventions, like you'd go to a job convention or like the Arnold Classic where you got vendors who got the newest supplements and shit. Like they went to this, it was basically like a prison convention where you had all these products that people were developing to hopefully sell to prisons that haven't been used yet or whatever, like different kinds of restraint systems or surveillance. And you name it, you think of it, they probably had it in some way, shape or form at these conventions.
It's from Escape Plan.
I know, right?
I'm like, are we there yet? Please tell me we're not there yet.
Shit, it's crazy, man.
I still don't even know how the fuck that shit works. So wait, so they built this thing in a barge, like underwater? Like I did.
Yeah, half underwater. Remember?
Okay.
A portion of it was underwater. It was like so many stories deep, and a good portion of it was underwater.
Yeah, but they were, dude, I don't know where the hell they were. They're off the coast of Morocco or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, so yeah, they were in international waters. But I'm like, so they just like dug like for a while.
That shit was awesome. That movie was awesome. I enjoyed that shit thoroughly.
I dug it too. I wasn't sure if I was gonna, but I did.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, again, it's like all the all this money that we have, and it's tied up in like this horrible shit. And you look at more statistics about like how like the percentage of we have the highest percentage of prisoners per population, like per whatever.
It doesn't even make sense.
It's like,
yeah.
Like, and now we're peeling back some of it. Like I said, I don't know if they repealed all the Rockefeller drug laws, but it's like
they reduced some of them. Like they talked about in that documentary how at least I know for marijuana, because before the sentence was like super stringent, and then I
have a question.
Like when Obama took office, he reduced it some, so it's not as bad, but it's still stupid.
Okay, how did Off Our Brains become about marijuana? And
that's Off Our Brains, man.
It just we just turned from it just turned into like
socially conscious all of a sudden.
We're usually pretty socially conscious, but like this just went into a whole different territory. It's like holy shit. So,
all right, well, fine. We can you can stop it there, and then you can say like on a special edition of Off Our Brains.
I know, right? We're gonna talk about this shit.
All of this stuff. But I mean, I could just as easily have like spent freaking 30 minutes crabbing about Ubisoft too.
No, you don't have to. But if you want to, you can. I'm just saying,
because they deserve some attention. You guys already did the friggin' thing with the phase 3 of reviewing that stuff. So
yeah. I forgot
that was kind of cool. Another neat little tidbit. I'm like, you guys didn't see what's the name, Wolf of Wall Street, or did you?
No, I didn't. I thought you did.
Yeah, they were talking about having the girl from there, Margot Robbie, possibly playing what's the name, Harley Quinn in a Suicide Squad movie.
Really?
That could be cool, because she definitely, if you look at her in the face, she could sell it.
Yeah,
she could definitely sell Harley Quinn. So yeah, I'm all up about that.
Huh. I once again, as much as I love Batman and stuff, I don't give a shit. Sorry.
Suicide Squad.
It depends on how they handle the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's gonna be Batman centric, and it'll be like the focus will be on the members that they choose that come from Batman's, his rogues gallery. But,
you're right. It definitely runs the risk of it being a little.
I mean, think about it. Arrow even became like that. Like 95% of Arrow's villains are all Batman rogues. It's like, come on, guys. There's other characters out there.
No, man. It's like it's perfect this way.
Because it's getting the most maximum money.
Exactly.
This episode should just be called The Monday. This is the Monday episode.
Money Squad.
It's the Monday.
There's other stuff too, where like Ubisoft, obviously, they have their own proprietary, internet, freaking streaming service that you play shit.
Ugh.
And if you're in the UK right now, that's the only way you could get Assassin's Creed Unity, though I don't know why you would want to.
What?
Or Far Cry 4. If you want to get an online copy, you can't get it through Steam. You can't get it through any other online retailer.
What kind of bullshit is that?
You can only get it through Uplay.
Jeez.
Only in the UK right now, because I'm pretty sure if they tried that in America, they would make
no money.
So as well it should.
No money, zero money.
It's like, what do you mean? Is it people love to play the Assassin's Creeds and the Far Cries and the stuff?
So was that their goal with this Uplay thing from the get-go then?
Of course, to have it basically take the place of Steam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially for their own games.
Yeah.
That's what they'll do. It's like,
God, greed is really fucking up the game industry, man.
Yep.
Like really?
You got pre-orders, which of course like Far Cry had in spades. I think they had a couple of unlocks. And the worst part is like I understand if you want to reward somebody on like a timely basis for pre-ordering something, fine. You want to put money down if you're so inclined. I'm not going to judge you. You get this weapon or this level before everyone else does. I'm like, fine, but eventually make that thing available for everyone else who actually paid money for your game.
Exactly.
But when that shit like stays locked because I didn't put down $5 before the game comes out, makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's like you don't have this outfit, you don't have this gun because my
you're not a real fan.
Is obviously in question. My fandom is
you're not a real fan.
Exactly. My fandom because I got like fan checked. I'm like, no, you didn't pre-order, therefore you don't get it. I'm like,
yeah, that shit sucks.
Wow. Yeah, here you go. Like, it's worth noting that even if you purchase these, I'm quoting from The Escapist, by the way. Even if you purchase these games from independent retailers, you still need to install the Uplay client to play them.
What kind of bullshit is that?
So even if you get it from Steam, from Green Man Gaming, or any other online service like that, you still need to install Uplay to make it work.
Well, that was kind of how Ghost Recon, Future Soldier was. Remember, we bought it. We didn't get it digitally, but like you couldn't really start playing it at all unless you download fucking Uplay. Remember?
Yeah, you had to definitely learn because it does nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it does nothing that technically the PlayStation Network shouldn't already do on its own, which is something, by the way, I'm already paying for.
Yeah.
Well, or not. But, again, it's like, that's what I mean. There's so many layers being placed between you and the game. That's why when it seems like this thing where every single game now is like, has to have some kind of persistent online component.
Yeah.
Like, it's a recipe for disaster because now you're asking for three things three things must work in conjunction for me to play a game.
Yeah.
My internet must be up and paid for and working.
Yeah.
Like the PlayStation, whatever the system, PlayStation, PC, like Xbox, their internet must be up and working.
Yep.
And now the publisher's internet service must be up and working just so I can play a fucking single player game.
Yeah.
It's not like our internet connections are that great either.
They could be, but some of the hell we're paying through the nose for shit internet as it is. Internet ISPs have no incentive to want to actually improve service in this country. None. None.
I'm telling you, we all need to move to fucking Sweden or fucking Denmark or some shit.
That'd be nice.
And go over there, be happy, and play all our fucking games. And
smoke weed every day.
Now the truth comes out.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit!
But yeah, I mean, and like other stuff where, like I said, they were talking about, the shit with the frame rates, which I may have talked with you about Strident before. It was like, oh, friggin' 30 frames per second is great for action.
It's the best.
Games.
Yeah, it's the best. No, it's not.
It looks the best. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Who the hell says that? If you can only do 30 frames per second and like 720p
on a next gen system, on the next gen fucking system, not like on an older system.
Where's the next gen part of the next gen system?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like
agree.
What? Like because I could freaking snap a web browser and play at the same time. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The game looks like damn near the same, or in some cases does not look the same because it's horribly glitched. Like as it was for a game from the generation before.
Yeah, there's not a big need. I don't see what the push was for these new systems. It just seems like they're trying to find another way to gouge you, and they weren't really trying to update and bring up the technology. And if they had brought up the technology, then it would be like, okay, we see what we're paying for. But yeah, I don't see what the fuck the next system is paying for, what you're paying for when you get that shit. Like, Arkham Knight looks cool and all, but it looks like, to me, it looks just as good as the previous two games, except it's shinier and there's a little bit more depth. That's it. It's like more polys being, rendered further off into the distance, and that's it. I don't really see why it had to be next gen only. You know what I mean? Oh, you're driving a car. You still don't have people on the streets that you're saving. It's still fucking empty ass Gotham City. Like, come on, like
Rockstar lets me walk around and do stuff and drive a car.
Yeah,
Volition does the same thing. They've been doing it for years now. I mean, why is that such a big deal? Because Batman can do it.
Yeah, it's like, this is just, we're not really, I don't know. This is why I
He's
slow
been
roll.
doing that in the comics for a long time too.
Yeah, exactly.
And movies, and cartoons, and live action TV shows. So now that you finally caught up to all of that,
Yeah.
what do you want, a cookie?
Now you really get to be Batman.
It's like, wow, it's about fucking time.
I know.
I guess that's what I'm paying the next gen price for. I don't know, man. It's not. I don't like to just constantly shit on things. I will give praise where it's due.
Yeah.
But there's another thing about internet dickery from
from Ubisoft.
Not even from Ubisoft. Like Activision, the first to completely block games from PS4 share play.
Oh God, come on!
Really?
That retarded fucking feature that they decided to throw in.
That we didn't even.
Well, I mean, I like the feature. I just think it's stupid that they're doing that.
But what do you need
I
it
think
for?
Activision's doing that because people are. Because I read they're exposing all the fucking glitches that are in the new Call of Duty game, and so rather than spending resources on fixing those glitches, they want to block people from seeing them. Which I think is dumb because
that's
people already know about them now.
That's controlling the media. That's not what you should be spending time doing. Perhaps if you had I don't know, 5 people from your 1,000-man team
testing the fucking game,
play the game from beginning to end, you would realize, holy crap! If you walk through this building, you will literally walk through this building, or you will fall through the map, or some other shit. Why does it seem like no one ever does that? Because okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Week fucking 1.
Yeah.
Of every major game that comes out, it's oh wow, there's a glitch. Wow, this doesn't work. Wow, you can do this and make a bazillion monies.
Yeah.
I'm wow, why is it that these people find these things out so fucking fast? I mean, I get it. Obviously, if 1 million people are getting their hands on something, glitches will arise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you would hope that they wouldn't come up so goddamn fast.
But that's what betas are for, and these betas aren't really betas.
That's why they need to
demos.
stop. They need to stop releasing. They need to stop fucking releasing these fucking betas. Stop making them open betas for everybody, and fucking test the game in-house and call it a day. That's what they need to do. They need to stop making everything an exclusive thing for all these gamers that want early access and all that bullshit, and fucking step your game up and make the game of better quality, and fuck all the gimmicks. I fucking hate gimmicks, and that's all we get these days.
So don't forget, everybody said that they were, not everybody, I'm sorry, a lot of developers said that they were ready for the step to next gen. They were ready. Now I understand there's going to be growing pains.
Yeah.
And everything's not going to be 100% effective and work super great. But these are some basic fucking things that people are missing.
Yeah.
And again, for these people who were ready for this game that was in development for, I don't know, 20 years with a fucking 5,000-man team or whatever the fuck it was. And to turn out for this to turn out like it did again after week 1.
Yeah.
That is sad.
It doesn't make any
people
sense.
sign their name to that. A lot of them. I know. You'll watch the credits for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But
oh, you see, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is why I'm I haven't been focusing so much on games because it's like monkeys are running the gaming industry. You know? It doesn't make sense.
Call of Duty Ghosts also does not allow players to utilize share play. The returning message was, viewing the game screen that the host is currently playing is not allowed due to content restrictions in your country or region. If the host starts a game that you can view, the game screen will be displayed.
So
that's what I said about Activision blocking share play.
So share play was just I'm playing something and I can stream. You can I can share it with you. You can stream it.
Virtually pass the controller to a friend so they can sort of like you would do if they were sitting on the couch with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's share play. I thought you were talking about videos because they're blocking videos on YouTube.
Well, they've been doing that shit though. That's not new. They've been doing that shit since Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Glitches.
Yeah, remember that was some of what what's his name was talking about. Jim Sterling was talking about that shit for some of the embargoes, and he was pointing out that there are some companies that's their practice. Their practice is to hide the fact that they made a mistake and that there's bugs and shit like that, and they they punish players for finding and putting that shit out there, when what they should be doing is thanking them and like utilizing that information.
The glitches.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these people are willing to be your beta testers. They're willing to come out and like they have, like, they're not burning a copy of the game in effigy. They're not like, you know, doing like anything incredibly heinous. I'm like, no, like this. They're just like, wow, like if you go here, like this happens. If like,
and they bought the damn game. Like that's the fucked up part. They spent money on your fucking game.
Plus they actually bought the game.
And they're not saying like, I'm never gonna buy any more of your shit because you never get shit right. They're saying like, oh, there's this goofy glitch. You know, this is funny. You should fix this, and that's it. They're too dumb in many cases to actually be like, fuck you, I'm not buying any more of your shit. Instead, they're happy with it. They still buy Call of Duty with no matter what it is. They still buy Assassin's Creed no matter what's wrong with it. But this is what the companies do to them.
Yeah, some of them, I don't know, unless it's like that Assassin's Creed Unity glitch where like everyone's like face disappears and like that's kind of
that terrifying shit.
Kind of wigged me out. I'm like, so no, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the gaming industry is fucked until they start giving a shit and stop going strictly after the money. They really need to stop because, I mean, like the moral of this episode, as random as it was, the moral of the good, like half of the episode is just, it's the money, man. Everybody's running after the money and they're not even giving you quality as like a means to get more money. You know, it's like, what's the fastest way we can get to the money? Just ship out some unfinished shit and let you pay for it and then watch the money roll in and then punish you every time you ask us to do something more than what we've done. That's bullshit. Exactly. That's bull.
No, that's good business sense. What do you mean?
Such bullshit. That is the way they do things these days.
Yeah, like I said, like they're picking up some other bad, like, you know, habits of Hollywood too.
Yeah. They just need to stop and recognize that the shit's different. They're different. It's two different mediums. Treat them as two different mediums. And then, you know. Jesus Christ.
What's up?
What the hell just happened?
Oh, I don't know. I had to step away from the mic real quick.
He had to drop the mic.
He moves away from the microphone to breathe. Cherry chocolate rain. That just popped into my head. I'm sorry. Nah, I don't know. It's funny. It was weird too because my intention today was for us to like have more positives than negatives. But it just seems like it's just more negative shit out there and it's extremely difficult to focus and find the positives. You know what I'm saying? Like these days in our entertainment, it's just not, I mean, unless we talk about Marvel all day long. And even Marvel, there's some things that Marvel's doing in the films that they need to emulate in their fucking comics. You know, and it would be nice.
Marvel does comics?
I know, right?
I thought they stopped that just to keep making movies.
I know. Pretty soon that's what it's going to be like. Watch. I fucking guarantee
that would kind of make me sad. It worse is that it's kind of what it feels like. It's like, well, now that the movies are kind of like informing the comics, I'm like,
yeah, it's coming.
It's not supposed to be that way.
It's coming. Watch. I guarantee it. Give it a few years and it's going to be like they're going to try to put it all. They're going to be all in on the films, and the films themselves are going to kind of have overstayed their welcome, and there's going to be an issue because you know that's the way they do.
Because right now the films are just they're eventually just going to wind up like the entity that are crossovers, where it's like, oh wow, another one, and then all these things happen, and then like it spins into the next thing where all these things happen. I'm like, you know, maybe there should be like a series in between some of these, not just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ugh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. On that note, good night, everybody.
But no, like I don't know. I'm looking forward to like at least like I don't know what 6 of these movies that are coming out. So
yeah,
and the other one just cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Shit, you're always cautiously optimistic though. that is your MO, brother.
Well, that's why I gave like a green light to 6 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you have to, because, you know, for the most part, though, they have been doing such a good job that it's kind of like, you know, most of them will probably be good. You know, they'll be worth.
Yeah.
At least,
I mean, they ran off one of the. I don't know how much of a driving force like Joss Whedon was, but I don't think he's going to be working with them anytime soon anymore.
me neither.
Yeah, and I don't mean in like a what's the name? Oh God, I don't want to spin it back there, but I'm going to. I don't mean in like a Michael Bay kind of way where he's like, I'm not going to do this, and then he comes back and does it anyway.
I know.
Like Joss may really be gone.
Yeah. Hey, it might be the Monday might be right. You never know.
I hope so, but no, it was this Twitter thing was like just a crazy like schedule. It wasn't the schedule. It was the meddling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the meddling and the work, because he was saying he was drained after doing Avengers.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Because the demands have to be insane. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what kind of story you want to tell. You got Marvel saying one thing, you got Disney saying something else, and then you got to deal with the actors and everybody on set. It's got to be tiring because everything has to be just right.
That's why I'm not sure who. I mean, I assume he was going to be. If not, he wasn't obviously going to do all 9. Because that would just be shit. Maybe that was the workload. Maybe that was the assignment he wouldn't do. I mean, you direct 9 movies in 5 years. Can you handle that? Probably not. No, I'd just be sleeping here at some point. No.
Should I do it? I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Directing all of them?
Hell yeah.
Probably do at least. I'd do at least 7 too.
I could direct 9 movies in my sleep, and they'd all be good. Because this is the thing: if you like comics the way we like comics, we already know what would work. It's not like he's doing this shit from scratch. You're regurgitating old information, and all you're doing is making it palatable to today's audience who doesn't know the old shit. They have no idea. You know what I mean? Or limited idea what the old shit was. So, like, yeah, you easily could, if you think about it, he could easily make it palatable. You know, he knows how to write. All he has to do is tweak certain things, and it's a done deal. It's just the fact that I think the meddling, like you said earlier, or like Agent O said earlier, the meddling is probably the part that's difficult to deal with because you see what you want to do, and you know it'll work, but then you have these folks kind of like bad editorial, you know, like editorial staff will pop in and say, oh, you should do this. Don't do what you did. And you're like, this works. What you want to do doesn't work, but they're editorial, so you have to listen to them. That's what it seems like it's probably what he was going through. And, you know, he's dealt with both, the good editorial and the bad editorial, and now he's dealing with bigwigs again at the movie studio. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what ran off Edgar Wright.
Yeah, they fucked up his script. That's why he left. He was like, fuck that shit, man. You guys want a dumb, generic-ass movie.
Yeah, I really want to know what his original intent was.
Yeah, because he hasn't really made a whack movie. Like, how do you get someone like him? He's like one of those rare instances where the guy has his own little style. He actually is as good as the reviews typically say he is. Not like Tarantino, where it's questionable. And Tarantino kind of sucks his own dick on film most of the time. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, he is really that good. And it's like, yeah, no, if you were really paying attention, you would see that it's not really that good. Not always. There have been examples, but not all across the board, you know? Or same with Christopher Nolan, you know? Nolan is good, but he's limited. And
dude, that guy sucked all the fun out of, like, you know, Interstellar. Like, again, I haven't seen the movie, but I could just tell from when they said this movie was originally going to be directed by Steven Spielberg,
yeah,
who was like Mr. like, you know, like kind of letting the moment happen, like building these massive experiences, like Christopher Nolan, who is like everything has a reason, everything has a purpose, and I'm going to tell you like exactly what it is, and I'm like a whole lot of, and. So again, I haven't seen it, but again, that's what Movie Bob kind of said, and what I was kind of afraid of would happen. Like, he just like sits there and explains everything as it's happening. I'm like, why don't you just let me be in awe of the thing without you sitting in my ear telling me exactly what the thing is?
Yeah.
Nolan suffers from the same thing Peter Jackson suffers from, and that's like never give. Like they may be good directors, but never give them a blank check to just do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah.
Because they will fuck it up. Like Peter Jackson did it with King Kong. And from what I've been hearing, like Nolan's done it with Interstellar. Like keep those dudes on a leash. Like stop gassing them up and filling their heads up that they're the the cat's meow or the cat's ass or whatever. And
the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, keep them grounded. Like people keep saying Nolan's basically the next Stanley Kubrick, or he's of that same caliber. But
maybe he is, but it depends on what you really think about Kubrick. Kubrick, yeah, he can set up a nice picture, but his movies are boring as fuck. Like, I mean, be honest, nothing.
And he is the next Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's like, a lot of people, they put their favorite directors on a pedestal, but then they only can see the good and they can't see the bad. And it's like, point out the real shit that they do good and the shit they actually do bad. Like, there's a lot of things that Kubrick wasn't good at. His movies are not like fun. That's not what he's very serious and very what's the word? He wants you to think about this, but he's not straightforward. It's philosophical in some way. You know what I mean? Like he'll tell you what the scene meant, and I almost guarantee that's not what you saw. You know what I mean? Like you saw 10 other things happen, and he's like, "Oh no, in this scene, this is exactly what's happening," and you're like, "Wow." Well, how did
that's what that was?
Yeah, how did that come? Because I mean, we in history of cinema, we have to read about Kubrick. We have to read about all those old dudes that like supposedly were like the greats. I can't stand Kubrick. Like a lot of people dig his stuff, and I'm just like, when people suck all the interest out of whatever the shot is because they stick to things like it's got to be symmetrical. Every shot has to be symmetrical. Every shot has to fuck that stuff, man. It's boring as fuck when you're telling a story and you're more focused in the composition of the shot than you are telling the story. Like if I can't understand what you're trying to tell me by the shots that you chose, then you failed as a visual storyteller. And a lot of times these guys that are big wigs, because they were different for the time, that's the props that they get. And a lot of people don't want to point out that this is what's going on. And when it comes to actually doing what you're supposed to do, which is telling us the story, they fail. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Maybe that it's true. That's what Nolan is going to be. Because, I mean, shit, he does suck the fun out of a lot of things,
Yeah, and I mean, so I can't even say like he's not. When you deal with things like specifically in like fantasy, like there are people who like attack, well not attack, but I guess like do like science fiction or do fiction, and they have like a certain amount of like fact behind what they do, like like there's some hard science there.
Yeah.
But it's like all those great like science fiction like directors and writers from way back when, like they never really got drowned in it.
Yeah.
But like he does, it's like it just like it consumes him to like to just like peel back all layers. Like this is why this is happening. Like this is how this is possible. This is and I'm like in Interstellar, I'm like, because again, like I watched technically the spoiler, and I'm like, wow.
Well, he didn't do that in. He should have done it in Inception, but he didn't. He chose not to.
Dude, does he even have that shit right? I mean, like I've been because I mean about the only thing that I could say personally. Look, I've been in a dream within a dream.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and of course, like the first one ended kind of shitty, and then I woke up in another nightmare, so that kind of sucked. But like this, to my recollection, only happened once. Now you're telling me like the time flow in like the second dream was supposed to be that much slower, or something? Because he was like, once you go down far enough, then you're like in limbo or some shit, and like you never get out.
I made that shit up for the movie because I've had short dreams that felt like I was in there for like the entire day. And then I woke up and only like a few minutes had passed.
Yeah, that's when I remember most of my dreams. Like I nod off. Like I'll be like say the alarm will go off, and in the time it takes me to snooze, I'll have a dream. Yeah, and like a lot of them are like they seem like they go on a while.
Yeah,
but it was
and
only
you were
like the
in a
last 3
dream
minutes.
within a dream within a dream or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think he just made that shit up for the movie, which you make stuff up, but then you don't deal with other things that we already know about dreaming. Like when you lucid dream, you're basically in control, but they weren't doing anything while they were all aware of what was going on while they were in someone else's dream. Like you saw the one guy, I can't remember who it was, he pulled out the grenade launcher in thin air and told dude, you need to dream bigger. But then that was the only time you ever saw anybody do any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like I would have had ships. I'd been doing all kinds of insane shit in the dream.
Yeah, that was.
Like, it would have been the fucking Matrix.
That's what I mean. Like, why did no one ever like do that shit? Like, there'd have been, like you said, like ships or robots or I don't know something.
Because
like,
it's Christopher Nolan.
Attack Pumas, something.
His Attack Pumas.
I'm like something. It's like shit. Like there are people in here like legit trying to kill me.
But
like,
that's because it's Christopher Nolan. He doesn't have the capabilities to do that. You ever notice how like he's always limited to like guns and explosions and one special effects shot where something ginormous does something. Like in Prestige is my favorite of his films. And in the Prestige, you had that machine that teleported people or cloned them or some shit. You remember it did a bunch of stuff. I think it cloned you, so you could go in and then you'd come out on the other side. But what came out on the other side was supposed to be the clone, when in reality, it's never really said if it could do what it did. You know what I'm talking about? The machine Tesla made.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then in so that was your special effects thing in that film, your big special effect thing. In what's the one? Inception. You had the scene where the chick was being shown that this was a world that was malleable, you know, in the dream, in the setup reality, and they showed the world like twisting and flipping upside down and all that craziness. There's your big special effects shot. And Interstellar seemed to have a lot of them. The Dark Knight had the big thing flipping over. The Batman Begins had the the big train sequence with everything falling apart. Fucking the third Batman movie had the big fight in the streets of Gotham with like thousands of people doing nothing. It's like every movie has that one big thing, but it's always limited. It doesn't go past a certain point. Like his sci-fi shit is I'm pretty sure. And I didn't see Interstellar. I wanted to, and then something told me to just wait and watch it when it comes out.
It's a 3-hour movie. I kind of want to just wait till it comes out on DVD or something.
Yeah, like watch it at home when you can get up and you're relaxed and shit. You know, I don't really want to pay. I like sitting in the theater watching like Lord of the Rings for 3 hours, but I can't do that with everything. It just doesn't compute for me.
I know, even Transformers was like almost 3 hours, and there was no way, and I couldn't sit through all that.
Yeah.
In the theater.
And we definitely didn't do that.
That's like a friend of mine who was working the summer program with me. I told you guys I saw this when I was like working.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean,
you made it extra painful.
At least I didn't pay.
Yeah.
He was like, man, I fell asleep. It was like, last thing I remember when I fell asleep, they were fighting. I woke up, and they were fighting.
Yeah, that's how it was for me with the newer Star Wars films. I fell asleep during one of the battles. I woke up. I think it was the second one.
Star Trek.
No, Star Wars.
Oh, the three.
The three ones. Yeah, like I woke up. The clones were fighting. I fell asleep when the clones were fighting. It's just shooting and big things rolling around, and I'm like, wow, this is the most boring battle ever. Lots of sand and shit. This was the second one, I think. And then or maybe it was the third one. Which one was it where Yoda fought, what's his name, you know, and Yoda fights and he's spinning around?
That was the third one.
The third one? Yeah, man, I couldn't stay awake. The first one, I fell asleep and woke up when Darth Maul was fighting the two Jedi at the end. I swear, like, and there was some portion of the movie where, like, my brain was like, nope. And we went to a midnight showing of that. My brain was like, yeah, cannot do it. You just can't make it. And then the second one, I think I fell asleep and woke up when the Jedis were getting killed. And I was mad as hell because I'm like, really? They got killed by robots that just walk in a straight line? That's it?
Yep.
And it was just so whack. But, yeah, I can't I mean, like some things, like I listen to podcasts that might be, you know, kind of long, but I'm doing other shit while I'm listening. So it's never like I'm sitting in one spot. Like right now, I've done a handful of my freelance shit, you know what I mean, while I'm talking to you guys and doing this. So, you know, it's not like I'm just a captive audience. And I've heard from other people that's how they listen to these things. They just start doing something else and then they you know, turn on the podcast and just let us talk. I just can't sit in the movie theater though for 3 hours. It's dark as fuck, and I don't know the person that's sitting next to me on at least one of the two sides, you know? Like, I don't like that shit. I'm uncomfortable with that. So, yeah, I'll be watching that through alternative means, or I'll watch it at home. I'm just being honest.
I'll check it out at some point. Yeah, I'm so just like amazed. Well, like I said, I didn't make it through like the last one. Like I had to like leave twice, otherwise I probably would have fallen asleep. So, I guess the soda kind of saved me in that regard. But it's like, yeah, you're right. A lot of movies I just really, when it's like 3 hours, maybe except for like the Last Cap, which the Last Cap was like that was 2.5, wasn't it?
Yeah, something. It's close.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really start feeling that until like I
didn't realize
until the Shield. I think the Shield take over. Like, so when the fight was actually brought the Shield, that's when I started to look like, holy crap, a lot of shit's happened.
Yeah.
And then I kind of looked at my watch like, damn, well, we're 2 hours already.
Yeah. I didn't notice.
It wasn't like due to length. It was because a lot of stuff had happened.
Yeah, I didn't notice until the fucking fight with him and Bucky. I was like, damn, the movie is still going. And the last fight with him and Bucky inside one of the carriers, I was like, holy shit, this is a long-ass movie. But I was enjoying all the, you know, the long-ass movie. You know, I wasn't complaining.
Yeah, that was definitely like, you know, I wouldn't have cut much. Like, oh, they definitely could have done without this or that. Like, no, I liked what was presented in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good.
I said, no, wow, almost no complaints from that. Just me, I just had like the little picked nits about the whole like glass capacity at 1%. I'm like, of course it's at 1% because it's got to like almost break before like, you know, when like they had friggin' caught what's the name when they had jumped
Fury. Nick Fury, yeah.
And then the same thing with the whole like countdown and like, you know, Cap makes it at 1.
Yeah.
Like, you can trigger the friggin' like reverse the shit that like broke the control over the thing. I'm like, other than that, I'm like, there was like nothing. I'm like, everything in here worked.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
They tried. That's what it was. It's like, you know, a lot of people aren't trying these days, and these motherfuckers, the Russo brothers tried. They were like, we're gonna think about what we want to do, and we're actually gonna try to do it, and they did it. I mean, shit was good. It was really good.
Yeah, and again, it had like a different feel to it too. Like, it literally felt like a superpowered Bourne movie instead of like a superhero movie that like is trying to do militaristic or like espionage. I know it felt like an espionage movie that just happened to feature Captain America.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's what they need to do. Like, if you're gonna like be releasing these, they can't feel like the same movie, and they don't. Like, what's the name feels like a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
Like the Thors feel like straight up fantasy movies. I'm like, that's what you need. Like, they can't just all be like guy in tights beats the bad guy, and that's pretty much all you get. Like, no, there's got to be other things that go into the package.
Yeah, it's got to be a hook. And it's funny. Thor gets shat on the regular, and those movies were actually pretty damn good. I don't know what people are complaining about, you know?
I didn't see The Dark World until like a couple months ago, and I dug it.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked it. Like, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what people are complaining. People kept saying all this stuff. The fights were lame, and they didn't think Malekith was Malekith was really that big of a threat. I was like, did you not see the same movie that we all saw? Curse was not that big.
I thought that final fight was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't seen a fight like that in quite a while.
I haven't seen a fight like that ever, with all the teleporting and the falling here and there, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
People nitpick for the sake of nitpicking sometimes, and I think that's what it is. They can't just say it's a good movie because it is a good movie. They have to diss it. It's like folks that say, "Oh, it was good for what it was. It's a fucking movie. What else was it supposed to be?"
Yeah,
you know. I fucking hate
I
that.
even like how they found a way to cram in like the glass thing. Because remember in the first movie when they drugged him, he hit the glass, and you see him like down the glass. And he fell on that building. You see him down the building.
Yeah, that shit was awesome. I don't know. I dug it. Thor's my favorite Avenger, and then comes Cap, and it was fun. I enjoyed it 100%. And I like the fact that they're doing what DC was doing with their animated films, and each of their movies kind of feels like a different genre. I almost wish that, I mean, even though I know that that's not how the comics are, I almost wish that they would go for the whole international man of mystery type deal with Tony Stark, because he really doesn't have a hook besides that. Like, oh yeah, he makes suits. Okay, big deal. How about you put him in these situations where he's going all over the world and dealing with all these threats in a James Bond-ish kind of way, with his suits as the gadgets instead of, you know, the lame, you know, goofy gadgets that Q would normally make, you know, because he's like Q and Bond in one package, except he's not a killer, you know, he's not an assassin. So that's the twist. And it could be more comedic and less hardcore, because I just don't buy Tony Stark as a real action. Like, Tony Stark versus Captain America, you can't really compare the two. You just can't, you know? And you can't really make Tony Stark deal with what Cap deals with, because, yeah, no. It just wouldn't work. At least that's the way I see it. You know, a lot of people, they like... If
Tony had PTSD before, think about what he'd have after dealing with the shit Cap deals with.
Yeah, it'd be like, holy shit. You know, I just don't see him. He's not built for the shit that Cap's built for. So, you know, literally. So, I don't know. I always wanted him. I always picture him in like a more comedic kind of fashion. That's why I didn't have a problem with the end of Iron Man 3 when it had the goofy, like, kind of Austin Powers version of the theme song, and it was cutting to all those shots of him doing stuff, and it had the funky colors and stuff. Like, that felt like it almost would fit. It fit to me for him. It didn't feel off. But a lot of people, they imagine Tony Stark being Bruce Wayne, and, you know, he can't possibly be doing goofy shit, even though that's like all Iron Man does. It's all jokes and fucking AC/DC and fucking, like, he's not serious. That's why I don't get where they're getting that shit from. Like, even the fight between him and Thor, I'm like, you guys really pushed it for this one, because Thor would maul fucking Iron Man. Like, Thor almost knocked out the Hulk in the same film, and and he was struggling with Iron Man. I'm like, ugh, you motherfuckers, man.
Dude, it's like the motivations for those characters are like complete, for him and for Iron Man and Batman, like completely different.
Yeah.
Like Batman, at some point, more than likely, when he was still very young, like made the objective choice to steel himself, to like prepare his body, prepare his mind to, like, quote unquote save the city, or at least like fight crime. I don't know what he really thinks he does in the grand scheme of things, but like that's what he's prepped to do, and it's what he does. Tony, at some point, realized, wow, these weapons kill people. I guess I should, like, try to make that not happen. I'm like, by building, like, another giant weapon. I'm not saying he's a lame character or anything. It's just, like how
he's an asshole.
From, like, his initial motivation, like you said, he saw the damage his weapons did, which is fucking stupid in a way. I'm like, what the hell do you think a damn bomb does? I was like, oh my god, so you mean evil people can get their hands on this? Yes, because if you sell it to someone good and that person who's good needs money, yes, that's how bad people get their hands on shit.
Yeah.
So, and all of a sudden he's realizing, again, like, no training. I mean, again, the smarts to build and design, like, obviously that's admirable and friggin' awesome. But I'm like, dude, you're going out there, and like you said, after, like, your first big adventure, which was quite huge, like, now you got some serious PTSD going on, like.
Yeah.
So what happens now?
Yeah, and in Cap, he woke up in another fucking century, like in a whole different, like, time period. Everything's different. Almost what he's 90 years old.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? And then he's beating the shit out of guys using martial arts that he didn't even know existed. He's learning these new martial arts. He's dealing with tech that he had never even dreamed of, even in the sci-fi of his time. And we're comparing these two guys. And one has PTSD from seeing aliens, and you're flying around in an Iron Man costume. And and like aliens seem far-fetched. Like by now, you're fighting alongside the god of a person believed to be the god of thunder, and aliens surprise you. Fucking the Hulk didn't give you PTSD. Thor didn't give you PTSD, but aliens did. Like, come on, guys. Like that right there puts it all in perspective. I just think, yeah, there's no way that Iron Man could deal with Cap. Just Cap is on a different level when it comes to like just being able to deal with shit, dish out shit, and just like having a bad day. Cap's really been having a bad day for a couple years now. Like Tony Stark, like, doesn't even count.
Like, yeah, and again, like, but I do think that will be like a slick thing. I mean, other than that, like what, like Iron Man on the whole is dealing with pretty much like corporate corruption or like industrial espionage. Those are pretty much should be the two main things that he should be worried about, making sure that other people who develop weapons or people that are buying his weapons aren't doing horrible shit with them.
Yeah, keep them in check.
That's pretty much it. Like that's the not the extent of his responsibility, but like that's his primary concern.
Yeah,
like making sure no one takes like Stark tech and does something awful with it.
And like some of his best stories were about that shit, like back in the 80s and early 90s, you know. Like I said, Armor Wars, that was my shit. I don't know how many times I read that shit, man. Armor Wars was just dope. And the fact that you got to see so many of his suits and you got to see so many people pop up that had variations of Tony Stark's armors. Shit was amazing.
I mean, shit, he's making like a bazillion of them, so you figure at some point, I mean, in the movie, he made like, I don't know, what was he up to? Like,
the main one was the 42, so I don't know.
Like 42.
Yeah, I don't know how many he had made before. And I've seen, like, you know, the Hot Toys, they had some strange numbers, and I'm like, wow, really? I didn't know he went that far. I didn't know he had like a, you know, 50-something or whatever. So I don't know. It's possible. I'm just going to say it's at least 40-something.
It's like, how many suits is that for you? Like 12? It's like Mark 42. Yeah, something like that. He's still a fun character, though. And like I said, like, and Downey Jr. was like a great, again, wound up being a great get. He's played him phenomenally for however many years he's done it.
Yeah.
Like for the 4 films or 5 films he's been in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But it's okay. He's only got like 7 more movies coming out, so. And after that, he's done.
He better be. He probably made like $1 billion already. God, this motherfucker's caked. Like, well, super caked up.
Evans is about to retire too. He's like, yeah, after all this shit, I'm done too.
Yeah, I think Marvel kind of wears these folks out. Marvel.
Well, no, Chris Evans said he's done acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done. He's going to be doing some behind the scenes stuff, like directing or producing stuff like that.
That's the same thing Angelina Jolie said.
Yeah, I just heard that yesterday or today.
I mean, I remember she said that before, but then I didn't see anything come of it. So maybe she's actually serious about it now.
She got like 8 kids. I mean, so I guess.
Yeah, and didn't she get like? Didn't she have one of her boobs removed or some shit because of the cancer?
No, she got a double. No, she didn't have the cancer yet, but she did it as a preemptive thing.
She got a double mastectomy just in case. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So she had them completely removed. That's a shame. She had nice boobs.
Well, they reconstructed some nice ones.
I'm sure she's got the best boobs money can buy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Moving everything.
Yeah.
So
we had a moment of silence for Angelina Jolie's boobs. I'm sorry.
I
know. See, this is the off the brain that I was trying to have. Not all that depressing shit that we know is not going to change, man.
And then Tomb Raider had the nerves to say that they weren't perfect enough.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Get the fuck out of here.
And you fuckers are just go ahead and bring in. Wait, was Anna Nicole alive at the time?
I don't even remember. I think she might have been.
Yeah,
she was still alive.
Then just bring her in if that's all you're looking for.
I know she could be the boob double.
Basically, because again, that was kind of like she was kind of like fucking
She was amazing. She had some
like
amazing
like that
moves.
like Downey Jr. as Stark is like, you know who'd be awesome as fucking Lara Croft, like
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie, and then bam, she actually does it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, she was great. Too bad the movies were kind of wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I was definitely hoping they'd be better. But I'm like, you got a template for that too that works. I'm like, you just follow like the indie sort of thing because it's basically the same shit, just no whip and fedora,
Yeah.
booty shorts and booty shorts and twin pistols.
I miss that shit because everyone's on this new Tomb Raider kick, and I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I don't like snuff films, and I don't like seeing my characters die in the worst fucking ways. So it's kind of frustrating that that's the focus of this new.
But didn't they always do that in Tomb Raider games?
People did it,
No,
but that wasn't the
messed up death scene.
Yeah,
like you would like ragdoll like and fall like horribly. There would never be like a scripted thing where like a damn lion would jump at you and you would have to QTE your way out of it, or like you just died in like a most gruesome way.
Yeah,
that's what happens in the new game.
Yeah, they're kind of revel in it now, and it's kind of like, really, this shit is not cool. Like, that's not my thing. And like, you know, it gets on my nerves because it's becoming acceptable for these like really extreme, fucked up, like it's like I said, it's a snuff film essentially. That aspect is like snuff film type shit. And like, if snuff films are illegal and not cool, why is it cool to sneak it into a video game and then be like, oh, this new feature? Oh, that's what the kids are calling it these days. It's a feature. Like
like I said, I get it if you want to make her, if you want to give her a backstory. It's amazing how often, like, you know, victimization is part of a female character's backstory.
Oh Lord, yeah.
And they call it depth.
Yeah.
That's the motivation. I'm like, no, it's not. It's always that, because it's never, oh yeah, like, you know, this male hero like got like, you know, beat up in the shower and like, you know, just completely like humiliated, and that's what. No, like, it never happens to guys like that.
Well, it happened to Green Arrow. Green Arrow, that was one of the dopest things about the characters, that they actually did things with him that they wouldn't do with like Batman or any of the other guys.
That's kind of cool.
He ended up even he got taken advantage of and ended up raising the kid himself.
Let me preface that. I'm not saying it's cool as in it should happen to anyone.
No, but it's cool. It's good writing.
Creatively, like using it in a creative context like this is interesting because it hasn't happened before, like, you know, anybody class onto that one point.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be nice if more people just stop being, you know, pussies and just do it. Jump out and do something different. Don't worry about what's been done before. You do something different, you know? But that's not
lazy.
Yeah, people are lazy.
I told you, man, what works before. And what did I say about new things?
Yeah.
New things are risky. New things are risky.
It's scary. Scary
we
stuff.
We can't afford risk. Transformers 17, it's coming.
It's true.
Like, because the 16 before it made $1 billion, so why not?
Yeah, why not? Let's keep the train going. Get that
train,
money.
exactly. Astro Train. Well, I guess they still wouldn't do him, because I always wonder, why would you turn into a train at all if you could turn into a space shuttle?
Because kids like trains, damn it.
I know, I did too. He was like, I had the toy. He was like one of my favorite like Decepticons. Like, but why would you want to turn into a train?
Because Transformers cost money.
Oh man.